Chattanooga. She had been described by others as gentle, sweet, and innocent. 64-year-old Nichols was administered a lethal dose of pentobarbital at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution right here in Nashville. His last words recorded by the Tennessee Department of Corrections. He said, "To the people I've harmed, I'm sorry. To the family, to my family," he said, "know that I love you. I know where I'm going. I'm ready to go home." Victim Karen Pulley's sister attended the execution. She hoped that Nichols' execution would help the family to focus on the happy memories of her sister instead of constantly reliving her murder. Former University of Michigan head football coach Sharon Moore is being arraigned today in connection with an alleged assault. Police responded to an emergency call from the home of his assistant, with whom he was allegedly having an affair. The audio from Broadcastify.
The male at the location and the house attacking her. State's been stalking her for months.
The arrest came a few hours after Moore was fired for what the school said was an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Major Wall Street indexes were mixed following Wednesday's Federal Reserve rate cut. The Dow was up 646 points at the end of Thursday trading. The S&P gained 14 and the Nasdaq fell 60 points as AI-related stocks sank. Shares of tech giant Oracle lost on worries about company spending on AI infrastructure. Regulators are shutting down New England's shrimping industry for another 3 years. That move extends a moratorium put in place in 2014 as shrimp populations fell due to warming oceans. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Right now, we've got Dow futures up 109. The NASDAQ futures, though, down 122. S&P futures are -9. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Oh, this is how we like it. Nice and quiet so far this morning. No problems so far on 40, 65, or on 24 heading into Nashville. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.505 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends and happy Friday to you. Happy Friday, Joan. Happy Friday, Sam.
Woohoo!
Gonna turn a light on in there?
Is it too dark in here?
I mean, it looks like we're doing Mandis After Dark.
Well, we have been.
That's it's a weird thought.
Oh, shut up, Joan. Not even a minute in, I'm already telling you to shut up. Anyway. So, I needed another minute, actually, to get ready for the radio broadcast. So, are we sharing or not? Sam, are we all good? We're all good? Okay, very good. We're all good. Lots of news today. And, Joan, I heard you talking about what happened in the Hoosier State.
Yeah.
You folks may know that I have some roots in the Hoosier State. I spent 3 long years in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I actually loved Fort Wayne, actually. But I am shocked that they decided, the state legislature, 19 Republicans decided that they would not vote with the other Republicans to redistrict so that the Republicans would have more representation in the House of Representatives, gerrymandering, and it failed in Indiana. Now, there's a lot of people that are angry. Donald Trump is, and others are trying to say, well, this is no big deal. It is actually a very big deal because right now in Indiana, you have 7 Republicans and 2 Democrats in Congress. And Republicans, of course, as they do, were trying to redistrict those 2 Democrat seats out. But that effort failed. They have a super majority in Indiana. And the state legislature, they voted against it. Super majorities are no good if you have a bunch of rhinos in there. And that sounds like what happened. This is Donald Trump talking about it.
It's funny because I won Indiana all 3 times by a landslide. And I wasn't working on it very hard. Would have been nice. I think we would have picked up 2 seats if we did that. You had one gentleman, the head of the Senate, I guess, Bray, whatever his name is. I heard he was against it. He'll probably lose his next primary, whatever that is. I hope he does, but because he's done a tremendous disservice. I mean, think of it. It's a great place. I love the people there. They love me. You know, we won in a landslide all 3 times. Got tremendous votes. I got record votes. And then there's no reason for doing that. And the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they do it. But I wasn't very much involved. But there's a man named Bray, as head of the Senate. Was that Bray? Is that the name, Bray? I mean, I'm sure that whenever his primary is, it's I think in 2 years. But I'm sure he'll go down. He'll go down. I'll certainly support anybody that wants to go against him.
You know, it's interesting, too, because Donald Trump, you were saying in the newscast, he won that state by how many points, Joan? I mean, I think you said it was over 20.
20 points.
The Indiana Senate's 31-19 vote to kill the redistricting bill marks a major setback to Trump's mid-decade gerrymandering strategy for Republicans to hold on to the control of the House in 2026 midterm elections. The bill sought to create 2 new Republican districts, which would have given the GOP control in all 9 of the state's congressional districts. So you had 21 Republicans who voted against this bill. 19 Republicans voted for it. All the Democrats voted against it, of course. And ultimately, it is the Republicans in Congress. They are the big losers here. Now, one of the things that the Republicans are trying to do is they are trying to make this like it's no big deal. This is a very big deal. This was Mike Johnson after we found out that Indiana had decided to vote this down. Republicans in Indiana voted down this redistricting effort.
Are you worried about Trump's grip on power after Indiana? Do you think it shows he's a lame duck?
Not at all.
Is he a lame duck?
Oh, no, it's no big deal. No big deal.
He is not a lame duck. He's the most powerful president of this generation and many others. We have a lot more work to do together. The outcome in Indiana is inconsequential to that. We are going to win the midterm. No, he did. No. He did not put in major pressure campaign for it. He let his opinion be known as he does on everything, all the time, all day long. We win some, we lose some. It is no indication whatsoever about what's going to happen next year in the midterm elections. We are excited about that. We have a great campaign to run. We go forward regardless of how each one of these states comes out. We're going to win on whatever maps are presented. So I'm very bullish. I'm more bullish today than I was yesterday, and you'll see that. And you guys underestimate us.
Sir, I do like how he says, don't underestimate us. And I totally get that. But there have been a massive debate. This has been a massive debate going on in Indiana. And make no mistake, I would say that this is a big loss with the current makeup of the House of Representatives. Remember, one of the state senators, a guy named Michael Bohacek, said that he would not be supporting the president because he has a daughter, I think it's a daughter, with intellectual disabilities. And remember when Donald Trump used the word retarded to describe Tim Walz? So this guy, Bohacek, decided that he was not going to vote for the redistricting effort because Donald Trump used the R word, which I think that is absolutely asinine and ridiculous. I would love to know, I don't think I know anybody in Indiana still, but I would love to know how the Republicans in Indiana feel about what happened in the State House. Because I think that this is absolutely crazy. He says, this is not the first time our president has used these insulting and derogatory references, and his choice of words have consequences. But here's the thing. Do you know who this guy, Bohacek, with the daughter with intellectual disabilities, when he says that there will be consequences, his choice of words have consequences. Do you know who's suffering those consequences? Republicans. I mean, I understand Donald Trump is going to suffer some consequences as well, because if the Republicans ultimately end up losing in the House of Representatives, let the impeachments begin, right? But honestly, it's America, and it's the Republicans that will be suffering the consequences. And I believe that the people of Indiana will also be suffering consequences because they voted for Donald Trump en masse. This guy says before the vote, I will be voting no on redistricting. Perhaps he can use the next 10 months to convince voters that his policies and behavior deserve a congressional majority. Bohacek wrote in a Facebook post after explaining that he does have a daughter with Down syndrome. So, we've seen in other states, of course, it was a very heated debate regarding redistricting. And this is the level of debate that was going on in Indiana. I'm gonna play this just because it was really fierce, and I mean really fierce. This is the Indiana Senate Majority Leader, a guy by the name of Chris Garton.
Say these maps are political. Let me be clear. You're damn right they are. Political policy is political. Safe streets are political. Look at Indianapolis. Affordable electricity is political. A drug-free Indiana is political. Peace in the Middle East is political.
I mean, I would love to know what's going to happen to these 21 Republicans who voted against this. Because this guy's right. So if you're a Republican and you just, for whatever reason, you just decide that you don't like Donald Trump in Indiana, and you are going to go ahead and vote against the redistricting when these Democrats are doing this all across the country and have been for years. I swear, if I lived in Indiana and I was a Republican, I would be really furious. Because ultimately what these Indiana senators did was they effectively sold out, in my opinion, they sold out their party.
I dealt with it firsthand. If drawing a map that secures 2 more seats for the Republican Party means that we continue to see overdose deaths drop by 20%, then I'll draw that map every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. If drawing a map means that we'll continue to see a 93% drop in illegal immigration, then I'll sign it with a smile on my face. We're not here to be neutral arbiters of decline. We're here to be active agents of American greatness. So I ask you.
So, do you think, Joan, that they voted because they don't like Donald Trump? Like, did they say exactly? I read a couple of different things.
Yeah.
I read that they didn't like, these Republicans, they didn't like the high-pressure campaign that they were getting. J.D. Vance went there twice.
Yeah, well, that may be exactly why they didn't like it.
Yeah. So
Because of J.D. Vance, which, of what? Like, of course he's going to go and be a cheerleader for the policies that his boss wants. I mean, that's what he does. That's his job.
right. And it's what America wants.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how we voted. And I don't know. I'm so baffled by this. You played an audio bite I hate to do this to you,
Yeah,
but in the 5 o'clock hour, you played an audio bite of one of these folks that actually voted no to redistricting in Indiana. What did he say?
So this is Republican State Senator Spencer Deary. He said he had voted no on it. Here you go.
After considering all the arguments offered in support of mid-cycle gerrymandering, I see no justification that outweighs the harms it would inflict upon the people's faith in the integrity of our elections.
Well, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. It's a
the
lot
others,
of,
hey, you know what? Can we all just, as a collective group, when I say DS, can we all agree that means dip?
Yeah.
Like, so if I say DS, then we all know what that means. Do you think people? I'd never remember that. Anyway, he's a DS.
I don't know. Given what the other Indiana congressman had to say about his intellectually disabled daughter with Down syndrome, he might get upset.
Here's the thing.
So
Go ahead, Joan. Because I'm just. They don't seem to understand. These Republicans in Indiana don't seem to understand that we are at war with the Democrats. I mean, the Senate Majority Leader who was advocating for the redistricting, he's absolutely right. Donald Trump is doing everything he can to protect Americans. It feels like these senators in Indiana, it feels like what they did was they voted against this because they basically don't like Donald Trump. That's what it sounds like to me. And the guy you just played the audio, and that was a Republican? Was that a Republican?
yeah.
So this Republican, it feels like they're trying to, stand on some higher moral ground, some higher moral authority. What a crock of crap. Because the Democrats have been doing this for years. I mean, do I have to break out the meme yet again on states like Delaware? And I don't have the meme in front of me now, but all those states that have, a pretty high percentage of Republicans, but they have no representation in the House of Representatives federally because of the gerrymandering of the Democrats.
Here's another one. This is Senate President Pro Tem Roderick Bray. Now, he's a Republican. He was critical of the plan. He said he wants the Republican.
This is the Senate, the Senate Pro Tem, President Pro Tem, and he's the guy that Trump was calling out. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a difference of opinion on how we get there, as I have explained before, because there are some concerns that going this route is not the best way to get more conservative representation in Washington, D.C. from the state of Indiana.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, it doesn't.
That flies in the face of logic.
I mean,
this is exactly how you get more representation from conservatives in Indiana.
And when you have some states, and I think there are 6 that have 0 Republicans in Congress.
All right, so no, there's a lot more. I've got it. Yeah. I've got it right here. Massachusetts, 36% Republican, 0 seats. Connecticut, 42% Republican, 0 seats. New Mexico, 46% Republican, 0 seats. New Hampshire, 48% Republican, 0 seats in the House of Representatives. Rhode Island, Vermont, Hawaii, Delaware, and is that Maine?
That's Maine.
All right, and Maine, 46% Republican, 0 seats. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 states that have no Republican representation in the House of Representatives because the Democrats know how to do this stuff right.
Where I came from in Maryland, we had 1 representative. We still have him. Okay. His name is Andy Harris, 1 Republican representative in the entire state of Maryland. And what they did was, instead of eliminating all Republicans, they took his seat and redistricted the seat so that a portion of his seat was on the Eastern Shore, which Maryland, by the way, is divided by the Chesapeake Bay. They put 1/2 of his seat up by the shore, and then the other half of his seat, his district, was in Maryland, proper.
Okay.
So that he couldn't even visit everybody in a day.
Oh, interesting. So they made it harder for him to campaign and so forth.
Yes. And just complete. I mean, and the next step for them is just to completely cut him out, which they do intend to do.
Yeah. I mean, they the Democrats have no shame.
They don't.
I mean, good Lord, if I was on in Indiana right now, I would be raising holy hell. I would. You know who's right on all of this, by the way? Scott Jennings was on CNN after this vote came down, and he agrees with me that the Democrats know how to do this right, and yes, we are at war.
Absolutely not.
Us discussing this Indiana situation and to see a Democratic debating partner tonight cheer on Governor Pritzker and his continued redistricting gerrymandering efforts just goes to show you that Republicans are rookies when it comes to redistricting. We are nowhere near as practiced or ruthless when it comes to redistricting as these Democrats. You get state after state after state where Republicans have virtually no representation in Congress at all. Illinois is already one of the most, if not the most, gerrymandered state in the nation. So make no mistake, gerrymandering is a Democratic skill set.
I love, by the way, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, which we're on today, if you're noticing, I don't know who this woman is that is on there with Scott Jennings, but he's talking about how gerrymandering really is a Democrat thing, and they have absolutely perfected it. And she's over there, and she's just giving all these, what are you talking about kind of looks. It's like, oh, no, we all know, and if people are watching CNN, they know that the Democrats have perfected the art of gerrymandering. And if the Republicans in states like Indiana want to shoot themselves in the foot or shoot the party in the foot, well, then I guess that's their choice. But they're making a big mistake.
Republicans are still pikers when it comes to this. But I got to tell you, what you heard tonight is what they're going to do. They're ruthless. Democrats have shut down the government. They've told the military to stop following orders. They're trying to redraw maps. This is the future with Democrats, a ruthless kind of politics, and Republicans better wake up to it.
I love that. Scott Jennings is absolutely right. What these Democrats in Indiana are thinking, I have no idea. Coming up, we'll go over some of the, because, it's like a scorecard that's going on these days. What states have gerrymandered? How many seats have the Republicans gotten? How many seats have the Democrats been able to get? And what is the scorecard? And what's next in gerrymandering?
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear how it sounded in the halls of the Senate after this?
Sure.
This is just amazing to me.
This in Indiana?
This is in Indiana. And I will remind you that this is not the common people outside on the doorstep chanting. These are lawmakers in Indiana, Democratic lawmakers. This is the chanting.
What are they chanting?
This is what democracy looks like.
Oh.
Can you believe that they're mimicking? They sound like commoners on the street.
Yeah.
Ghouls instead of lawmakers.
Well, let's be honest. So those are Democrats?
Those are Democrats.
Democrats are not the same as your father's Democrats, right?
So true.
I mean, they're just, honest to goodness, the entire... Here's the deal, though. Like in Indiana, Democrats have scoreboard. You know why? Because Republicans wussed out. That's what happens. Republicans wussed out. Scott Jennings is right. I'm right. A lot of you folks are right. If you're irritated with the Republicans in Indiana, they've made a big mistake. So if you're keeping score, well, I'll give you the scorecard coming up next. It is 5:24. We didn't even do traffic, but there's nothing going on in traffic, right?
That is correct.
Well, there is an injury crash at Clarksville Pike.
Oh.
Well,
look
where?
at you, Sam.
Clarksville Pike in the Bordeaux area. At the West Trinity Lane Junction.
Okay, very good. I mean, not good, but there's an accident. All right, 5:25. Joan's got the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, he snickered and chatted. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, his appearance in court yesterday, we've got more on that. Also, what's next for Kilmar Abrego Garcia? He was released from jail yesterday. Got those stories and more at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 5:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The man accused of murdering conservative commentator Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University in September was in court in person for the first time yesterday.
Physically in court for the first time rather than by video link, Tyler Robinson, accused of murdering Charlie Kirk, appeared thin, wearing a light blue dress shirt and tie, at times seen adjusting that tie. Before court started, he was chatting, smiling, and chuckling with his attorneys.
Counsel, as we're moving forward today,
the judge said the hearing was to deal with a couple of issues, including updating the gag order, court security, and attempts by the media to unseal case documents. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia walked scot-free out of a detention facility in Pennsylvania yesterday after a federal judge claimed that the Trump administration has no basis to hold him there and no basis to facilitate deportation hearings. That got the attention of White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The White House, the administration opposed this activism from a judge who is really acting as a judicial activist, which we've unfortunately seen in many cases across the country. Abrego Garcia is present in our country illegally. He is a proven human trafficker. He is a proven gang member.
Abrego Garcia will have to check in with ICE in Baltimore today. We'll keep following that story. The daughter of a mid-state sheriff has been sentenced to 24 years in prison for abusing a child at a daycare center where she worked in Clarksville. Sarah Fuson was convicted after a trial that included video of her shoving the child in a high chair. She apologized during her sentencing hearing yesterday.
To Olivia and her parents, I'm so very sorry that this happened and what this has put your family through.
Her attorneys are requesting a new trial, but that process won't begin until May. That is the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, it's a crash on 24. It's in the westbound lanes in Glencliff. This is at the Antioch Pike overpass. And also in Bordeaux, Clarksville Pike at Ashland City Highway. There is a crash that involves some injuries this morning. Otherwise, we're looking fairly good so far to start you off on this Friday morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 536, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN for a Friday. By the way, partly cloudy today. High of 55, going to feel like 53. Saturday, high of 47. Sunday, we drop with a high of 25 and lows in the teens on Sunday. Are you kidding me?
Going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. All right, very good. Okay, 536, and you folks know what we've been doing. We've been bucking the company, and we've been playing our own Christmas music as opposed to the company-mandated sucky Christmas music. So, in the 5 o'clock hour, it is my turn, and my choice is Carol of the Bells, TSO.
Good one.
Bow, 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 bow. I heard this on my way in. I cranked it all the way up. My little RAV4 was speeding down 40. I mean, I hear this, and I envision the wind in my hair flying 90 mile an hour in a convertible down 40. Of course, that's a problem with me, but whatever. Anyway, so I like TSO. I'm a big TSO fan. Big, big, big TSO fan. So anyway, that is my Christmas bumper music for this hour. I got a good one for... Oh, you know what? I'm not going to be here next week, Joan.
You're not. I know.
You think Brian will do it? Do you think Brian will continue with this wonderful little tradition we have going on here?
I'm not going to be here Monday and Tuesday as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe
I guess
we
my
should...
bumper song will be All By Myself by Eric Carmine.
Oh.
You'll have Brian.
Poor
And I don't know who's
guy.
running the board. I have no idea. It's not my job anymore, so I don't care. But whatever.
Brian does it from home.
So?
Yeah, but you'll have whoever...
Still do it.
Whatever. Yeah, you can still do it. Listen, Brian's going to be here in a little bit. Got Brian on the show today at 7, as a matter of fact, 7:06. So we can talk to Brian about just that if you want. See if he'll want to carry on the tradition. Because, Brian's a big music guy. He wouldn't let me touch his bass when I was in his music studio.
Can you clip that one too?
Oh, stop it. We had some good clips yesterday in the 835. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Dan, my husband said he was crying. Tears of laughter.
Crying laughter?
Yes.
Yesterday at the 835?
Yes.
My ribs hurt when I got home.
No.
I don't even remember what happened yesterday at 8:35, but from what I understand, I walked in and Amy was face palming something about 2 holes. That's all I remember. Moving right along.
Oh, man.
All right, so Donald Trump, congressional ball. You want to hear? I'm going to play this piece of audio. And this is Donald Trump at the congressional ball. He's in a tuxedo. And I want you to listen to not only what the president says, but the reaction to what he says. Listen to this.
Many of you in Congress worked very hard, both sides, this year to keep the promises that you were elected on and to deliver big wins to the American people. And Democrats worked very hard, too. I mean, I think you could get rid of a couple of your little policies like men and women's sports, open borders, transgender for everybody. But other than that, I like what you're doing.
Could you hear in the background? I've had headphones on, so hopefully people, they were able to hear the gasping of the Democrats as the president was saying this at the congressional ball. So you got all these Congress people. And you can hear the gasps of people saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he went there during the congressional ball." Listen again, real quick.
American people and Democrats worked very hard too. I mean, I think you could get rid of a couple of your little policies like men and women's sports, open borders, transgender for everybody. But other than that, I like what you're doing.
Maybe it's just me, but I think it's funny as all get out. So it is that time of year where it is the holiday season and things start slowing down as far as the news goes. But it actually doesn't seem like the news is slowing down much. I mean, we've got Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I'm a little confused by this one. And by the way, coming up at, I think I've got Jonathan Fahey at 6:38. We're going to go over this whole Kilmar Abrego Garcia thing because I'm a little confused as to what's going on and why he has been released. And by the way, they're talking about the possibility that he may be rearrested today. I don't know if that's going to happen. They talked about that the last time he was let out for a little while.
Well, he's got to go to ICE. He's got to report to ICE.
He's got to report to ICE
in Baltimore.
And if they can figure out a way to arrest him again, they will.
Oh, yeah.
We all know that the media called him Maryland Man. Remember this?
Thought to be wrongly deported. Maryland Man,
Maryland Man.
Wrongfully deported.
But Maryland Man.
It's kind of funny. You know what I've noticed? Even on this radio station, Joan, I'm not going to call anybody out, Joan. I'm not going to call anybody out.
Okay.
But I've noticed some newscasters on this radio station cutting and pasting the network copy and calling him Maryland Man.
No.
Maryland Man. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland Man.
And then the newscasters have had to stop and retrace and say Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the accused MS-13 gang member. But yeah, that's why that is why, just like I should not play audio without listening to it first because I got popped twice yesterday with curse words. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. The newscaster is cutting and we call it in the business ripping and reading, right? Is that what you guys still call it?
Yeah.
Ripping and reading. And it's like, oops, ABC News called the Maryland Man. So now I've got to, stumble my way through retracing and not calling him Maryland Man. But I'm not mentioning any names.
I call him Margarita Man.
Margarita Man?
Yeah, because of that Democrat senator that went down there and had a margarita with him.
Oh, yeah, that was Jones' old senator.
Yeah.
What's his name? Chris
Van Hollen.
Chris Van Hollen. But he's not a Maryland Man. He is a member of MS-13, Tren de Aragua, human trafficker. He was caught right here in Tennessee smuggling a bunch of illegals. We all remember that. The Biden administration let him go. All of that on video. Wife beater. His wife filed orders of protection against him. And he was also, I had forgotten about this. This is a little known part of that conversation. He was also accused of asking a 15-year-old for nude photos. Do you know about that, Joan?
Yeah.
Did you? I didn't.
Yeah, it was something that actually I knew that they were saying that there was something sexual in nature with a young, but I learned about it this week.
Yeah.
So I may have just come out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice guy, huh?
So do you think Kilmar Abrego Garcia is going to go home and beat his wife just to get out of his system?
I think he's going to be a little more reserved. Plus, I don't think he's allowed to live with her. He has to live with his brother.
Why? Is there a restraining order? There should be. I mean, there was. I think there was a restraining order against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. But this was an Obama-appointed judge that ordered him released. The judge, Paula Zinnes, in her order, found that this is what I don't understand. And I'm hoping that Jonathan Fahey can explain this to me. Zinnes, in her order, found that no final order of removal from the government to deport Abrego Garcia from the United States. How was there no final order of removal from the government to deport Abrego Garcia from the United States when that's all that they've been talking about for the last, what's it been? It's been like a year, something like that. Yeah. Despite the Trump administration's repeated attempts to remove him. So this is what I don't get. It's like, I don't know if this is I think it's clearly an activist judge. That is what Tricia McLaughlin says. Assistant Department of Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin called the judge's decision naked judicial activism by an Obama-appointed judge. And honestly, that is what it sounds like to me. Now, here's the deal. If the Trump administration somehow shanked I don't know if it's the filing of paperwork. I mean, are they saying in your coverage, Joan, that Zinnes is saying, this judge is saying that the Trump administration doesn't have
legal authority? Legal
authority, is that what they're saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that the Trump administration doesn't have legal authority, which is weird because isn't it the federal government that has the authority to deport people?
Yeah. So this judge. I mean, it's nonsense. It's all nonsense. And if they didn't have legal authority today, they also didn't have it 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Why didn't she rule then?
Right.
Why did you keep him in jail? I mean, that was...
None of this makes any sense.
No. So, yes, by the way, he has to stay with his brother. He'll be in the custody of his brother in Maryland. He'll be confined to the residence except for specific approved activities like going to work. He must find a job, by the way. He can go to religious services. He can see a medical professional, and he can attend court proceedings, but that's it. And he can travel in Maryland, and he can travel in Tennessee, but he can't travel anywhere else. So I don't know how he'd get to Tennessee if he's in Maryland, because he'd have to cross through a couple of states.
Right.
I don't know. So yeah, there are limitations on what he can do right now.
Right.
But he's still a free man.
Unbelievable. Well, maybe Chris Van Hollen will bring him a margarita. Maybe
I'm sure
Chris Van Hollen can visit him and bring him a margarita. By the way, this is Caroline Levitt.
That decision.
Absolutely. The White House, the administration opposed this activism from a judge who is really acting as a judicial activist, which we've unfortunately seen in many cases across the country. Abrego Garcia is present in our country illegally. He is a proven human trafficker. He is a proven gang member. The administration has evidence of that. And as you saw from the Department of Homeland Security, they issued a statement saying they'll continue to fight this legal battle in court. Caitlin.
So there you go. They got to figure out how to, because the Democrats, as we've all talked about, the Democrats really have hung their hat on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I mean, this guy, and I think the Trump administration has too, where this guy is emblematic on both sides of the problem with our immigration system right now. You have a guy, Abrego Garcia, who in this country illegally and member of MS-13, and you'll have some people that'll say, oh, well, there's no evidence that he was MS-13. Really? Because local law enforcement said that he was hanging out with MS-13 gang members, behaving like a gang member, and we can debate the stupid tattoos on his knuckles all day long, whatever. But, for the Democrats, too, Sam, look this up, or I read this somewhere, where the Democrats are so passionate about opposing Donald Trump. Somebody called it how it's like Trump derangement syndrome? It's like Trump opposition syndrome. Is there such a thing? I think people are starting to utilize that term as well, because the Democrats are always opposed to everything that Donald Trump stands for, everything that the Republicans stand for. And so they end up, and the Democrats standing up for the narco terrorists is a great example of that, where it's like the poll comes out. This was earlier this week. The poll comes out roughly 65, 70% of the American people were like, hell yeah, blow them to kingdom come. Because many of us know people who have died from drugs that have come from Colombia. By the way, Colombia, you're next. From Colombia or, Venezuela or wherever these drugs come from. And the American people, by and large, I think the majority of the American people are like, you know what? Whatever you need to do, whatever legal hijinks you need to do to blow these people to kingdom come, absolutely do it, because we all know people that have died from drugs that come from over the southern border, coming from Venezuela, etc. And so people, although by and large we are certainly on our side, we are a law-abiding party, the Republican Party. Democrats aren't, but Republicans are. We don't mind seeing these guys blown to kingdom come, even if it is a double tap. I don't care. Majority of the American people don't care. But this whole notion of Trump opposition syndrome, where they're going to be against everything that the president stands for, means that they take the most absolutely bass-ackwards positions on these issues. Did you find it?
Basically, Grok says it's just a synonym for Trump derangement syndrome. I do like. Did you like that, Joan?
Trump opposition syndrome, where whatever the president is for, they're going to be against, or whatever the president is against, they're going to be for. And it forces them into a corner of siding with illegal aliens and taking all kinds of crazy positions.
Which is really rich, because when you bring up how the Democrats are acting now, pales in comparison to, I guess you could say, one of the former leading Democrats in 1989. Oh.
What? Has lost that war and lost it
The war
miserably.
on drugs.
They lost because they attempted to deal with only part of the drug problem. They lost because their initiatives were pulled apart by bureaucratic squabbling among their advisors. They lost because they always did too little and they did it too late. We don't oppose the president's plan. All we want to do is strengthen it. We don't doubt his resolve. All we want to do is stiffen it. The trouble is that the president's proposals are not big enough to deal with the problem. We think we should do more to stem the flow of drugs across our borders, and we think we should go one step further. Let's go after the drug lords where they live, with an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists.
There you go.
And they must know it.
You know, the funny thing is, though, Joe Biden doesn't remember saying that. Whatever. 9734, why are y'all not calling him the notorious KAG? Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Oh, my gosh.
The notorious KAG. I don't
in
know.
reference to the notorious BIG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the notorious Big.
So I really like when we call him Maryland Man, because that skewers not just him, but the stinking media.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, if you were calling him the Maryland Man with sort of a sardonic kind of a tone, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
I like this. Heather says, how is he supposed to get a job if he is illegal? Cat's out of the bag on that one. I mean, he was able to get a job before. I don't think he's going to be working, though. Do you think he's going to go back to his... I don't even know what he was doing. Wasn't he doing like an apprenticeship or something when he got arrested?
He's probably got a GoFundMe set up through one of his family members.
He's not going to have to work for a while.
Yeah,
No.
and I mean, this whole ruling comes about. I tried to dig into it a little bit more. There is no final order for removal because they want to try him on these trafficking charges, and they want to make a statement with that. And so, because there is no, decree that he's going to be removed because they want to have this trial, that's why the judge ordered his release.
I would love to get his... I'd like to get his butt back to...
Get his KAG.
I'd like to get his KAG back here to Tennessee. But, I mean, I'll ask, is there a statute of limitations? I think I've covered this before. What year was it? Do we know what year was it that he was caught trafficking? I mean, bottom line is
2022.
2022. So it's all on video.
Yeah.
But they called, remember the whole thing? They
Yes.
called the Biden administration and the FBI, I think it was, and they said, "I'll just let him go." Remember that whole thing? Mm-hmm. Can they bring him? I'm going to ask Jonathan Fahey.
No statute of limitations.
There's
for
no
federal
statute of
trafficking.
limitations. So I wonder if they can bring him back up on charges from that episode back in 2022. They've got the video. They've got the police report. They've got the state troopers. I mean, we already know. I'm assuming they know who those state troopers are. So can they bring him back to Tennessee and charge him? Oh, I would love that.
If there's something they haven't charged him with, yeah, because it would fall under something that's considered a continuing offense, meaning that many human trafficking crimes are considered continuing violations because the statute of limitations generally does not begin to run until the criminal conduct or the entire criminal operation ceases. Similar to the Comey, the continuing of the lie situation. It's as long as there is an inkling of it still happening and have a connection to it, he can be charged.
He's got an inkling and a connection to it, I'm sure. So I would say let's bring him back to Tennessee and let's charge him and see how that goes. Anyway, it is 5:55, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 2774. I guess our taxpayer dollars are paying his legal bills. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. No, I don't think we're not paying his legal bills, are we? No, we wouldn't be paying them. I mean, the Democrats are, he had a not a GoFundMe account or something like that, but he's got these rich benefactors that are paying his legal bills. Remember, Joan, we talked about that?
Yes.
He's got some rich benefactors that are paying for his legal bills. And so, because remember, if Kilmar Abrego Garcia wins, then Donald Trump loses.
Yes.
And that's why they've got so much invested in the notorious KAG.
It's TDS all over again.
Okay, it is 5:56. Joan's got the news at 6. Joan.
Hey, a question for you. Are COVID vaccines safe? The FDA may be ready to slap a warning on them. Stick around for that and more coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right. Hello, YouTube. Happy Friday. So I was checking some things online on YouTube. Is it just me, or is our state-of-the-art camera like going blurry? It's like going blurry, and I don't know what's going on with it. So can you let me know in the comments? I'm monitoring the comments. Can you let me know in the comments? Because I'd like to get it fixed. Either that or I'm like having a stroke.
State-of-the-art's a generous term.
If the camera is going blurry, can you tell me? Because I just was checking some things on the feed, and it's like every I don't know, 30, 45 seconds or so, it just blurs, and then it focuses again. So let me know in the comments. Happy Friday. Hello. Looking forward to 8:58. Talk to you soon.
Six o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The Food and Drug Administration will reportedly add a black box warning to COVID-19 vaccines. That warning would appear at the top of the prescribing information. It is the agency's most serious warning, designed to warn about risks, including death and life-threatening or disabling reactions that should be weighed against any benefit. Now, CNN reports it's not clear right now if that warning would be applied to only mRNA vaccines or to all COVID-19 vaccines. This weekend will bring a special moment at the grave sites of America's fallen heroes. An organized effort for the holidays to place wreaths at millions of veterans' grave sites.
At the graves of over 3 million of America's fallen veterans this weekend, there will be salutes and the names of the fallen read aloud.
Gladys F.
Wreaths Across America co-founder Karen Worcester.
We are most known for placing wreaths on veterans' graves during the holiday season.
In addition to a veterans convoy from Maine to Arlington National Cemetery, this weekend volunteers in all 50 states will place wreaths at the graves of America's fallen service members.
To teach the next generation the value and cost of freedom.
A labor of love coming from her family's wreath company in Maine. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com.
Dow futures were higher overnight after the industrial soared 646 points to a record close Thursday at 48,704. The S&P also notched a new high watermark, rising 0.2%. The Nasdaq Composite went the other way, slipping 0.25%. Shares in Lululemon jumped 10% yesterday after the athletic apparel maker said its CEO would be leaving next month. Company founder Chip Wilson has criticized Calvin McDonald after watching Lululemon stock drop 50% this year. Hollywood writer-director Carl Eric Rinch has been convicted of defrauding Netflix out of $11 million. Prosecutors say the 48-year-old had been hired by the streaming service to produce a science fiction series, but instead sank the money into risky investments. And Australia's social media ban for kids under 16 faces its first big legal challenge. Reddit has filed papers with Australia's High Court, saying the new law curbs political discourse. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Right now, Dow futures are plus 66, but the NASDAQ futures are down 174 points, and the S&P futures are minus 15. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, got a couple of trouble spots on 24 westbound in Glencliff. Still there at the Antioch Pike overpass this morning. You got an accident that takes out the right shoulder, and it's slow going up to that spot. Talbot's Corner on 65 southbound at I-24. That's another crash with the right shoulder blocked off. And then on Tennessee 45 in Madison, right at Maya Drive. Watch out for an accident in that spot, too. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Sam, I want to do a Daily Dan poll like right now. Are you enthusiastic about the midterm elections? Are you enthusiastic about the Republican Party heading into the midterm elections? I've got some accompanying audio that I'll be playing here in a little bit, but that was a topic of conversation. I think that there's still some people, that are frustrated with Donald Trump. I'm not really one of them. I mean, he says things that frustrate me sometimes, but really, I'm not Pollyannish. I am looking forward to the midterm elections because I think that things are going, by and large, okay. I mean, there's some things that have happened that I don't like, but I am enthusiastic going into the midterm elections. There was a big battle over the economy. 6:06, Nashville. What? Hold on. I love when I start.
Do it again.
No, you've done that too, Joe.
Video and
No, you know what's going on? People are complaining about the camera. Just real quickly, people are complaining about the camera.
Really?
And yeah, my camera, it goes blurry. Mm-hmm. It's going blurry and then focuses, blurry and focuses. So I was checking it out myself. Anyway, moving right along. So big battle over the economy in the Capitol building. This was the yesterday. So this exchange went viral. CNN's Caitlin Collins and Caroline Levitt got into it over the state of inflation. So this is what it sounded like. Listen to this.
Mixed signals in terms of what that looks like. But
inflation is down from where it was. As measured by the overall CPI, it has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. This is down from what the president inherited. The president inherited 2.9% in January. Today it's at about 2.5%. So we're trending in the right direction with more to come. And I would remind you, when President Trump left office in his first term, inflation was 1.7%. And the previous administration jacked it up to a record high 9%. So again, in 10 months, the president has clawed us out of this hole. He's kept it low at 2.5%, and we believe that number is going to continue to decline, especially as energy and oil prices continue to decline as well.
It wasn't high under Biden. They're just saying it's not.
Well, nobody reported on it being high under Biden. My predecessor was standing at this podium, but now you want to ask me a lot of questions about it, which I'm happy to answer.
Go get him.
But I will just add, there's a lot more scrutiny on this issue from this press corps than there was. Well, and the previous administration said that too. My predecessor stood up at this podium and she said inflation doesn't exist. She said the border was secure. And people like you just took her at her word. And those were two utter lies. Everything I'm telling you is the truth backed by real factual data. And you just don't want to report on it because you want to push untrue narratives about the president.
I mean, listen, Caroline Levitt, a lot going on in that one soundbite. First of all, there's a lot of numbers being thrown around, and a lot of this is being politicized. These numbers are being politicized. If you are pro-Donald Trump, which I am, and I am conservative, I will find good things to say about the economy. That doesn't mean that they're not true. It just means that I'm looking at things from a certain perspective. So the CPI, and if you're anti-Donald Trump, you'll find negative things to say about the economy. But the CPI, remember, core inflation does not include food. It does not include energy. But back in March, April, and May, it was indeed around 2.4%, the CPI. Back in September, it was at 3%, and now here in December, it's around 2.92%. She is saying the average, so I guess that means the average across all of the months. But there's just a lot of numbers being thrown around. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't figure out how she's getting her numbers, but whatever. I'm not going to argue with Caroline Levitt because do you know what I know? I know that affordability is an issue right now, but do you know what else I know? I know that the Fed has cut tax rates. As far as jobs go, we've seen good growth with American-born workers actually working. The Fed is predicting strong GDP growth for 2026. Gas prices are at a 4-year low. Real wages are up. That's wages versus inflation. In other words, inflation might be up, but wages are rising beyond inflation. So wages are keeping up. That's all good. And so heading into 2026, when we are going to have the big, beautiful bill and the tax breaks and the deregulation and all that starting up in 2026, we are hitting 2026 at a full-on sprint. And so it's not beyond the pale. I'm not being a partisan hack spreading propaganda, talking about some positive things about the economy. I do understand there is still things to work on. We still have a lot that we need to do, but I'm not going to be a doomsayer about the economy. And the other thing is, and I feel like I've said this once or twice before, but think about the Biden administration and that economy and how bad it was then. That's the whole point that Caroline Leavitt is saying. Where we had cringe Jean-Pierre trying to talk up 9.1% inflation and talking about how the border is secure. So there is this selective outrage. And I've always said that, part of what defines you is what you're outraged by. And the media, they weren't nearly as passionate about asking these questions about the economy when it was Joe Biden and 9.1%. So for me, I totally agree with what Caroline Leavitt is saying. I'm not being Pollyannish about the economy. There is a lot of work to be done, but we are hitting the ground running for 2026. I will also bring up yet again about the record-breaking Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
You can give up certain products. You can give up pencils. Because under the China policy, every child can get 37 pencils. They only need one or two. They don't need that many. But you always need steel. You don't need $37 for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice, but you don't need $37.
So you remember when I said that Trump needs to sharpen his talking points when it comes to the economy? The president talking about how you don't need 37 pencils, you only need 2 and all that other stuff. That didn't go over real well. And the Democrats and some Republicans have been hitting him on that. Now, the president has been talking about this for a long time. I mean, there was an interview that he did with Meet the Press. I think it was Meet the Press back in March or April, where he was saying the same thing. He's been saying this. And basically what the president is saying, because they're attacking him on this, basically what the president is saying is that prices have been artificially low because we have all of these products that are made in China. They're flooding the market. And so what he's saying is that if we have these things made here in America with better trade deals and so forth, it'll be better for everyone. But the question is, and this is what Caroline Leavitt had to say about this because she was asked about this. But what he's saying is that with these better trade deals, it's going to be better for the American people because we'll have these pencils or whatever it is made here. And people will be working. And yeah, you may have to pay $1 or $2 more. But if it's made here, it's all going to balance out. Now, you want to talk about a debate over whether or not, what kind of impact that'll have on the economy? That is a huge debate. Caroline Leavitt talked about this, and this is part of what she had to say when she was asked about this yesterday.
As the president has said it is, then why is he telling parents 2 weeks before Christmas that they should only buy 2 or 3 dolls for their children?
Look, what the president is saying is that if we want products made right here in America, if we want them to be made from American small businesses, which is a large part of the reason the president has effectively implemented tariffs, then we're going to have better quality products right here in the United States. Maybe you'll pay $1 or $2 more, but you will get better quality and you'll be supporting your fellow Americans by buying American. And that's what the president was saying. Again, with respect to affordability, every economic metric, Caitlin, and I wish you would report more on it, does in fact show that the economy is getting better and brighter than where it was under the previous administration. I will repeat, inflation as measured by the overall CPI has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. Real wages are increasing, roughly $1,200 for the average worker. Gas prices are down in almost every single state across the country. Again, in 22 states, it's below $2.75. You look at the tax cuts, those are going to go into effect next year. So the best is yet to come. The president is digging our country out of the economic hole that the previous administration put us in, and that's what he's talking about.
All right, so go take the Daily Dan poll. Are you enthusiastic going into the midterm elections? Going to talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is 6:16. Time to check the roads on WTN. Far as your weather goes, partly cloudy today, a high of 55, feeling like 53. Similar on Saturday with a high of 47. Sunday, we drop to a high of just 25 degrees, lows down into the teens. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 6:17. So for the Daily Dan poll, what are people saying on YouTube? Sam.
Are you enthusiastic about the midterm elections? I gave 3 options for response. Yes, somewhat, and no. Yes is polling at 44%, somewhat at 28%, and no also at 28%.
All right, so I wouldn't say that is a ringing endorsement for enthusiasm heading into the midterm elections, and I get it. But to me, a lot of this goes right back to gas prices being at a 4-year low. And I keep taking great pains in saying that if you are somebody who is anti-Donald Trump, you can make the numbers say anything you want. If you are positive for President Donald Trump, then you can find things that are positive. But there's no way anybody can, I don't care how Trump derangement syndromed you are, there's absolutely no way that you can look at gas prices at a 4-year low and come back with something negative on that. So to me, I just think that there is so much to look forward to coming in, and we'll have to wait and see where the whole thing goes. It is 6:18 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and the Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. There's a story. This is Kristi Noem. She was testifying yesterday. I thought this was interesting. She was testifying yesterday on Capitol Hill, and she got hammered by a guy named Representative Seth Magaziner or Ziner, don't know, Democrat out of Rhode Island. But this is very performative, and what we've been talking about with the Democrats is they are doing a lot of performative things these days. And this veteran, guy by the name of Se-Jun Park, she is accused of deporting him to South Korea, and she was asked about that, and the media is playing some games with this, and this is how that went.
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989.
So they've got this guy, for you folks watching on Super Talk TV, I don't know about you. I do find the performative nature of this absolutely ridiculous. What is that thing, Sam? Is that like a tablet that they've got him on? One of his aides has him on, it looks like just a little tablet, and he's holding it up, and he's over his right side, and Se-Jun Park is just watching. And this Democrat wants Kristi Noem to thank him for his service. Do you see how silly this is?
Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient.
Right.
He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
I mean, it's just so stupid. It is performative. And they got this guy up live from South Korea. And he's just sitting there on a couch not saying anything. And this Democrat is like, will you join me in thanking him for his service?
I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell Mr. Park why you deported him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country.
Right.
Will you have broad authority, by the way, as secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want you to remember that
Madam Secretary, the man
listen,
behind you, please stand up.
He absolutely just blows right over what she's trying to say. But here's the thing. That dude was not deported. He self-deported. Now, he self-deported because he was under threat of deportation, but there is so much more to this story, and I've got it coming up, because he was ordered deported back in 2010 under Obama. And he's been here ever since.
Better and better, yeah.
Right? So he went through legal proceedings in 2010. So he went to, he fought. I don't remember where he fought, but he fought somewhere, and he took a couple of bullets for us. And so he had some drug charges. He had some gun charges. He broke a bunch of crimes. They say it was because of his PTSD. In 2010, an immigration judge issued a removal order based on his drug convictions, revoking his green card under laws classifying certain offenses as deportable, even nonviolent ones for non-citizens. The case originated under the Obama administration, but remained unresolved for years. So when Biden was in office, he could have asked for his green card to be reissued. He could have applied for citizenship. He did nothing. And so Trump comes in and mass deportation begins, and they deport him. Because all they know is that this is a guy with a revoked green card who has committed a bunch of crimes. And so he was going to be deported or under threat of deportation. And so he just self-deported to South Korea. So the Democrats are lying about the circumstances with which this guy ended up in South Korea.
And his understanding, in an NPR article, he admits for a long time citizenship was not a priority because he did not fully grasp the consequences of remaining a non-citizen, which is what happens when you have soft on immigration policies that don't enforce the law.
Whose fault is that?
Democrats.
Yeah, it's Democrats' fault. And it's the fault of this South Korean, who, by the way, he had been here since he was 8 or 9 years old. So it sounds really bad. And the Democrats, and you heard the performance by the Democrats, and all over. If you see this story, you will see that the Trump administration deported a veteran, deported him back to South Korea. That's not even close to the truth.
Well, and because he's self-deported, does he not also get kind of the fast pass on the way back in?
Actually, yeah, he should. He should get the fast pass. I wonder if he got $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it is, $1,000 or $2,000.
Probably did.
That'll go a long way in South Korea. All right, we're running way late. 6:25. Jones got the news coming up.
Yeah, coming up here, Dan, we'll tell you why Letitia James is doing the happy dance once again today. Also, police in Clarksville are asking for the public's help in solving a crime. Those stories and more coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
If there's one person, Joan, that I don't want to see do a happy dance, it's Letitia James.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, though.
Sure.
6:25, Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here, Window Nation. Listen, if you need to replace your windows, but you've been putting it off, you've got to check out my friends at Window Nation today. Because here in the month of December, it is their end-of-year sale at Window Nation. Listen to this. 50% off all window styles, you could get 0% interest financing for 5 years. Now, you can replace your old or builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. Don't forget that great deal. 0% interest for 5 years and 50% off all window styles. This is a great company. I've got 4 Window Nation windows in my home, 2 in my basement studio, 1 in my kitchen, 1 in my bedroom. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and 45,000 5-star reviews. Window Nation. Check them out. Again, a great company. Don't forget that great deal. 50% off all window styles, and you could get 0% interest financing for 5 years. Find them online. It is windownation.com, windownation.com. Dan Mandis here, Mark Spain Real Estate. Spend your time with those who matter most this holiday season and sell your home with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There's no showings, no open houses, and the best part, there's no stress. Dan Mandis here. You know, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate to my friends in Nashville because I can trust they are going to sell your home hassle-free with a strong all-cash offer. As a matter of fact, you know, the Wall Street Journal and Real Trends, they have both consistently named Mark Spain Real Estate as a top real estate team in America for closed transactions for 9 years in a row, including being ranked the #1 real estate team in the nation for 5 consecutive years. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate sells over 4 homes every single hour, making them the most experienced real estate team in America. You can trust them to sell your home hassle-free and for maximum value. It is the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Find them online anytime, markspain.com. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
there it is, 6:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories for the second time in a week. A grand jury in Virginia has declined to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James on mortgage fraud charges. This time, prosecutors tried a grand jury in Alexandria, Virginia, which, by the way, is another largely Democrat city. So is Norfolk, where the DOJ assembled the grand jury earlier this week. ABC's Alex Mallon says that they may try again, and perhaps in an area that has more red voters.
There's no real limit on how many times prosecutors can go back before grand juries in the federal system, but it's just simply because we've never seen a situation like this. Not just in covering the Justice Department, but in DOJ history, there's not really any precedent to look back at the Justice Department going back multiple times before a grand jury and failing to get an indictment.
Now, Letitia James' first indictment was thrown out by an activist judge who ruled that the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, was improperly appointed. Police in Clarksville are hoping the residents of the Park Lane neighborhood with outdoor security cameras can help them find a would-be killer. The plea comes after a man was shot last night. Here's News 2's Megan Fee.
Clarksville police say they found the man around 11:45 p.m. at a home on Park Lane. We're told he was shot in the back multiple times. Police say the injuries don't appear to be life-threatening.
And police are still saying, too, that the shooting appears to be targeted, not a random act of violence. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. The westbound off-ramp from 40 eastbound is jammed up this morning. It looks like there's an off-ramp there that has been stalled, blocked off by a stalled car. Maybe I should start this all over again. It's on 40 East, the westbound off-ramp to westbound I-40 South Loop. That's a stalled out car there blocking the ramp. Also, 24 westbound right at Bell Road. There's a crash, and it's in the right shoulder now. That shoulder is blocked off and still causing quite a delay behind it as well. Got an accident on 40 westbound in Mount Juliet. The accident taking out the right shoulder at Beckwith Road. And then Hamilton Church Road in Antioch, an accident just east of Hobson Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 636. Jonathan Fahey is standing by, but first, we are playing our own bumper music from now till Christmas. This hour, it is Joan's turn to pick the bumper music. Joan, what did you pick?
I picked a very favorite song, and I know this time you are going to love it.
All right, go.
As in love.
All right. Yeah, Sam? Got anything for this, Sam?
Go ahead. Criticize it. Go ahead.
I love this song and I love this version because Carrie Underwood's got a beautiful voice.
Is this Carrie Underwood?
Yeah.
Joan, you've put me in a terrible position.
You just can't criticize today, can you now, Dan?
I can't say anything negative about Carrie Underwood. They'll come at my house with torches and pitchforks. And all that.
Her husband's a former Preds captain. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would admit.
Not a good idea.
Carrie Underwood does no wrong.
Besides that, this is just an amazing, crazy cool song. When you think about the point of view of Mary.
Yeah.
And having, the godsend baby. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. What a cool song.
Carrie Underwood, she can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Now.
So there you go, Dan.
Now, the federal government, on the other hand, and that's where we pick up with Jonathan Fahey joining us on Super Talk 99.7. Boy, I don't know where to start. I woke up this morning or last night, Jonathan, and they had released Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So have you been able to figure out what justification this, they're calling her an activist judge. I believe that she is an activist judge. But from what legal framework is this judge, why did this judge order him to be released?
Well, the judge, I think, putting aside sort of the politics and the policy over it, this judge, has essentially said that the government doesn't have a current removal order because it was withheld, and they didn't trust the government's efforts to deport him to third-party countries and had a lot of questions about, the way they were going about it. But I think the problem with this judge is, again, trying to, involve herself in immigration policy. And I think one thing this administration can do on this, because remember, his removal to El Salvador was withheld because an immigration judge determined it would be too dangerous for him there because he's a gang member and would get attacked by other gangs.
Yes.
But what DHS can actually do is reopen the immigration proceeding and say the circumstances have changed, meaning in El Salvador, it's not nearly the dangerous place that it was back when he was initially ordered deported and had it withheld, which I believe was 2019-ish or somewhere around there, because it's substantially safer. It's far safer than virtually anywhere in the United States right now. So if the idea from that initial immigration judge was to keep him safe, then, this would actually be a safer move for Mr. Maryland man, because El Salvador is safer than Prince George's County, Maryland, which is where he's from, which isn't safe at all. So, but I think it really is just activist judges, these groups like, ACLU and all of these groups will fight every deportation because they want to keep as many illegal aliens in the country as possible. The Trump administration can also appeal this, where they've had very good luck in the appellate courts because they tend to be, I think, focused more on the law and give a lot more deference to the president and the executive powers. But ultimately, we have this guy, a gang member, alleged human trafficker, out on the streets again because of some activist judge doesn't want him to get deported. It's ultimately disgraceful, and this guy's, a hero of the Democratic Party. They'll probably have him, if they don't nominate him for something, he'll probably speak at their next convention. It's so shameful.
Oh,
but
Jonathan,
ultimately, he's not going home. He's not going to stay.
They are going to have a statue, I'm sure, somewhere in Maryland, just like George Floyd, right? I guarantee you that's going to happen.
George Floyd, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, so we know that in 2022, he was caught trafficking a bunch of illegal aliens, and so they ultimately, I'm sure you know this story, you and I have spoken about it, but 2022, here in Tennessee, he was trafficking a bunch of illegal aliens, and he got pulled over. And it was obvious to the troopers that pulled him over. He is trafficking a bunch of these guys. He got 8 or 9 or whatever it was in a car. And they phoned the Biden administration and the FBI, and they told him to just let him go. And so they let him go. Here's my question, though, and this this may be a curveball, but that was in 2022. Can we request that he come back to Tennessee and face charges of human trafficking, because he was never charged before, but all that evidence is still there. The video evidence in the report is still there.
Right. Yeah, and he's still charged with it in Tennessee. So, yeah, he's going to have to face the music for those charges. And you're absolutely right, which is such a good point. They basically caught him in the act, and the Biden administration had no interest, because we know what the Biden administration overall immigration policy was, which is open borders and amnesty, but also the Department of Justice had no interest in prosecuting things that weren't politically beneficial, and things like human trafficking weren't. So it's so shameful. Yeah, he can still face the music, go to prison on this, which I think he should. In a weird way, the Trump administration sort of tried to do him a favor by kicking him out. So if he gets convicted, he'll get kicked. He will serve some time, probably a significant amount of time, and then he'll get kicked out. So in a weird way, the judge might not have done him the favor that she thinks she did. But again, it's just like the Democratic Party as a whole, which is not a bad strategy if you think about it. They fight every deportation, even these, gang members or anything else. So then it just makes it so hard to deport anyone, and they keep all of the illegals here because their ultimate goal is to make them citizens. And I think everyone knows that, particularly in light of that New York Times report, coming out, what was it, last week, that, okay, they knew, which we all knew they knew, but it was just sort of interesting seeing it sort of in black and white. And, so that's the goal here. Every deportation, they will fight like dogs to keep everyone here.
Yeah, and we were joking earlier, Jonathan, about this concept. I heard it somewhere. I don't know where I heard it, but it's like Trump opposition syndrome, like Trump derangement syndrome, but Trump opposition syndrome, where the Democrats and the media will just automatically take whatever the opposite position is of Donald Trump, and they end up taking, the most ridiculous of stances. For example, the blowing up of the narco terrorist boats, and even the double tap. I believe that most Americans don't give a crap about, because these are narco terrorists. I believe the Trump administration did their due diligence, and now the Democrats, of course, not shocking, they're trying to go after Pete Hegseth, and they're more than likely they're trying to get him out of office. They're trying to do whatever they can to go after not only Hegseth but other folks within the Trump administration. So this is something that they're going to be continuing to do. Did you watch any, and I was just talking about this in the previous segment, did you watch any of this testimony of Kristi Noem yesterday as it related to this guy, this guy in South Korea, the guy from South Korea?
Yes, I saw clips of it and saw some of it live. Yeah, it was pretty stunning and striking that, the way it was characterized, and then when the truth comes out about this is, again, another one of these situations where they try to portray the DHS as deporting some, a veteran who's done all these wonderful things, and leave out the punchline, if you will, of all the bad things he's done, and he was not a citizen. Yeah, it's
right.
So embarrassing watching the Democrats.
Well, I've got a question about that coming up next. Jonathan Fahey joining us. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, 6:45, Nashville's Morning News on Super. Hey, Sam, can you do the traffic for the rest of the day? You and Joan do the traffic for the rest of the day. 6:45, Nashville's Morning News. Partly cloudy today, a high of 55, feeling like 53. Similar Saturday with a high of 47, but Sunday we drop to a high of 25 and lows in the teens. So, Jonathan Fahey, this guy, and again, I was talking about this previously in the hour, but he was here, and he was here for years, this South Korean. He came here when he was 8 years old. He was a military member and so forth. But it was the Obama administration in 2010 an immigration judge issued a removal order based on his drug convictions, revoking his green card under laws classifying certain offenses as deportable, even nonviolent ones for non-citizens. The case originated under the Obama administration, but remained unsolved for years. And so this, again, he was a veteran and he fought for our country. But what I find interesting, though, is that he had this order under Joe Biden. He could have applied for citizenship. He could have applied to get his green card back, but he chose not to. Instead, what he decided to do was self-deport all the way back to South Korea. And so they're leaving out the part where this guy just didn't take care of this. Is what I'm saying. He chose not to take care of business, this Sejun Park. And couldn't he have just reapplied for a green card, or couldn't he have just applied for citizenship under Biden, who no doubt would have given it to him?
Yeah, he could have done that. And this idea that, they leave out, the criminal record and all of these things with so many of these people. And yeah, he didn't apply. And the default should be, if somebody is trying to come here legally, the default should be, if they don't do it right, they don't come in. And yep. That should be, it's common sense, and it shouldn't be easy. And he had multiple opportunities. And like you said, he was ordered deported and self-deported. So it was like, Trump didn't do anything here. And what's another really big scandal, and sort of in the, back to the Mayorkas world, when they were, even the people being ordered deported, they weren't enforcing it. So there were so many people, I think the number's over 1 million people ordered deported that just stayed. So it's like they made our immigration courts such a complete joke. So you go through a process, you either get legal status or you're ordered deported, but the bottom line is you stay either way under the, Biden Mayorkas regime. And that was one of the big scams when they were bringing in all the, quote unquote asylum seekers, because, Mayorkas would say, he would go on these shows and say, well, if they don't get asylum, they'll be sent back. And he knew that wasn't true, because he knew the people that were getting ordered deported when he was in office, being as DHS secretary, weren't even being deported. It's so cynical. And, so many takeaways from that hearing just show the big, the gulf between where the Democrats are and the American people are in this immigration issue. I mean, the Democrats don't want anyone being deported. I mean, they will defame law enforcement. You saw Benny Johnson, not quite the same thing, but they, talking about the National Guard member murdered. It's like they are just so callous and indifferent to people that are protecting us, putting their lives on the line, and they just have no regard for them. But if somebody were to say something about an illegal alien, if you use the term illegal alien, their heads would spin. You have to use the most perfect euphemism. I think it evolved into newcomer at the end of the Biden administration.
Yeah.
And it's just so embarrassing. And these leaders don't represent the American people. The illegal aliens are probably one of the most powerful constituencies of the Democratic Party. They have far more representation than the average American worker.
Let me ask you this, just changing topics. Letitia James. So once again, we're talking earlier about how she's doing the happy dance because it seems like she has escaped the justice yet again. So the Justice Department failed again to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James. What is going on?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because at least one, we know she was indicted the first time before it was dismissed by a judge. And then the second number two and number three, she was not. And from what, the public available information actually makes this case seem quite strong. So I am curious what the issue is. Is it a political issue with the grand jury just not wanting to indict for political reasons? Are there deficiencies in the case that I'm not aware of? Because it really does seem like, at least my understanding, she claimed this residence was going to be something she would use as like a second home, not rented out, and she in fact never lived there and rented it out. So that seems like a clear lie, and she also financially benefited from the lie, which makes it worse. But I don't really understand. I mean, the Justice Department has a couple roads they can take. I mean, one, they could just walk away from the case. Two, they can try to re-indict it again, because a grand jury, it's not just one grand jury. Typically, there's multiple grand juries meeting. They'll probably, they could have several grand juries meeting each month, and they're also impaneled at different times throughout the year. So they could re-indict it with another grand jury. They could maybe get more information. They could have gotten some feedback from the grand jury to say, we have a real issue with this or that. So they could investigate or shore up issues with the case. The other thing is they could appeal the judge's ruling that dismissed the case, saying Lizzie Halligan was not properly appointed. And then if they win that appeal, that first indictment comes back in, it's basically reinstated. So there's a lot of options. I'm not sure what they'll take. My gut feeling is they might walk away from this if they've tried twice and it hasn't been indicted, but I just don't, you need to know more before you kind of make that conclusion.
Hey, Jonathan, I have a question for you about this. Is there an issue with the DOJ and the places that they're choosing to impanel grand juries? Because Alexandria is clearly a very blue area, and Norfolk isn't much better. Why aren't they doing this in areas where they know they can get an indictment handed up?
Right, that's a good question, because Alexandria and Norfolk are both in the Eastern District of Virginia, meaning that judicial district. So you could, typically you would indict the part of the district, meaning where the crime occurred. Like if Northern Virginia would be Alexandria, where that cases would be Norfolk. So I do not know the strategic reason for that, but you're absolutely right. You could have a politically, not just a, sort of liberal-leaning grand jury, but a very politically aware grand jury up in Northern Virginia. Everyone follows politics. So, yeah, you do think that strategically you might want to put it down in the Norfolk grand jury and have them look at that, because they might look at that with a different lens, meaning less political and more sort of on the facts. And also people might be more offended by somebody, that's, in fact, quite wealthy, that's taken advantage of the banking system and making money off of it by lying when they all, in fact, had to tell the truth on their mortgage application. So, yeah, I think that's a really good point. To see where they're indicting it, and, they could go back down to Norfolk. But I do think you get this. It's hard to take politics out of any of these cases to have people really look at the facts. So I don't know if that's the reason, but it certainly could be one.
All right, Jonathan Fahey, always great to have you on. How can people find you on X?
John for Fairfax.
All right, John for Fairfax. Thank you, Jonathan Fahey. Always great to have you on. If you can't find him, follow me at Dan Manda Show. Joan, I'm at like 11,900 or so X followers.
Oh.
I'm this close to 12,000. I came this close to begging people on Red Eye Radio last night, please follow me. I'll take sympathy follows just to get the 12,000. Not a one.
No shame. No shame at all.
Absolutely no shame.
None.
All right, 6:54. Jones got the news coming up.
Yeah, yesterday, that a Tennessee death row inmate was executed. We'll tell you his last words before the execution began. Coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here for me. Dan Matt is here for DT McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans. Great prices, selection, and value. I've been telling you about DT McCall's for years. I was a customer before I was an endorser. They've been helping you out for 4 generations, and if you need it for your home, they've got it. Great prices, great selection as well. Indoor furniture, appliances as well. Anything for your yard, your garage, if it plugs in, they've got it. They've always got specials going on to save you money at DT McCall's. Go to the front page of their website. Check out what they've got. Every time something breaks in my house, every time I decide or my wife decides that we need a new piece of furniture, first place I go is dtmccalls.com. Great prices on all the best brands of appliances like washer and dryer sets, dishwashers, and a whole lot more. They've been at it for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com.
Okay, downtown here at the I-40 South Loop westbound on-ramp, we've got a crash with the off-ramp right lane being blocked. In Rural Hill, we've got a crash with the right entrance lane being blocked on I-24 westbound at Bell Road. Antioch, there's a crash at Bell Road and Murfreesboro Pike. And in East Nashville, we've got a crash at Gallatin and Seymour Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is now 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A political setback for Republicans in the push to change congressional maps to favor the GOP ahead of next year's midterm elections. Republicans in Indiana deciding against a measure that would make it easier for Republicans to pick up 2 seats in the House of Representatives. Here's Republican State Senator Spencer Deary. He voted no.
After considering all the arguments offered in support of mid-cycle gerrymandering, I see no justification that outweighs the harms it would inflict upon the people's faith in the integrity of our elections.
President Trump won that state of Indiana by nearly 20 points in 2024. Tennessee death row inmate Harold Nichols executed yesterday about 10:30, as expected, nearly 3 decades after he raped and murdered a college student who was described by others as gentle, sweet, and innocent. 64-year-old Nichols was administered a lethal dose of pentobarbital at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution right here in Nashville. His last words recorded by the Tennessee Department of Corrections. He said, "To the people I've harmed, I'm sorry. To my family, know that I love you. I know where I'm going. I'm ready to go home." Former University of Michigan head football coach Sharon Moore is to be arraigned today in connection with an alleged assault. Police responded to an emergency call from the home of his executive assistant with whom he was allegedly having an affair. The audio from Broadcastify.
The location and the house attacking her. He's been stalking her for months.
The arrest came a few hours after Moore was fired for what the school says was an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. Some changes for the U.S. Mint. There's a new quarter revealed yesterday with designs for the 250th birthday of the U.S., and they feature pilgrims and former presidents instead of the Biden administration's planned civil rights-themed quarters. President Trump is having quarters minted with the Pilgrims and the Mayflower, George Washington and the Revolutionary War, Thomas Jefferson and the Liberty Bell, James Madison and Independence Hall, and also Abraham Lincoln, and a quote from the Gettysburg Address. Now, the Mint is also considering a limited $1 coin featuring President Trump on both sides. The backside of that coin would be the image of him captured after the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures a little mixed right now. The Dow futures are up 69 points, but the NASDAQ futures are down 149, and the S&P 500 futures are down 12. That is the latest news. Stick around for your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Still have a crash at the downtown split this morning that has the off-ramp blocked, a portion of the off-ramp on I-40 South Loop, the westbound on-ramp from eastbound I-24. Also, Antioch Bell Road at Murfreesboro Pike, that's a crash scene. And East Nashville on Gallatin Avenue at Seymour Avenue, that's another accident spot this morning. Things are pretty slow there. Slow going, normal volume delays on 24 westbound, also on 24 east and 65 south, especially at the merge there. And traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. As far as your weather, real quickly, partly cloudy, high at 55 today, going to feel like 53. For your weekend, Saturday, a high of 47. Sunday, we drop down to a high of 25, lows in the teens. And so, going to change up the format a little bit. Joan, Omaha. We're going to do the Christmas music, the personalized Christmas music here, because I've got an important interview coming up at 7:35. Brian Wilson is here, of course, a special appearance by Brian here on a Friday. Brian, as you know, we've been bucking the company-mandated terrible Christmas music for our own. And in this hour, Sam is the one that is picking the Christmas music. So, Sam, go ahead real quick. That's the Eagles.
That's the Eagles, yeah.
It's the Offspring.
That's the Offspring?
Yes.
Are they an offspring of the Eagles?
That'd be an Offspray.
Oh, whatever.
This is a good one, Sam.
Yeah, this is good.
Good vibe. I like it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Very good. The Offspring. And, Brian, just so you know, Sam is, of the three of us, Sam's have been the most terrible.
No, I like that. You know, I got a good dose of Christmas music last night. I saw Nashville Royalty, and it was a fantastic concert at the Ryman. It's the Vince and Amy, Amy Grant, Vince Gill.
Oh, you got to see that.
Yeah. My sister is in town. She got us tickets, and we went. And I got to tell you, I don't know what kind of deal that Vince Gill made with the devil, but the guy is timeless. He doesn't age. He's 68 years old, and his voice. Perfection.
It's pristine. His voice is still pristine. I saw him with the Eagles.
So good. He's so good. And Amy comes out and she's just stunning. I mean, she just, everybody sort of gasps. She's so beautiful when she walks out, and she's still in good voice. And it was a great show. Amy Grant, though, has a mean streak, I've decided.
Really?
I know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, everybody thinks Amy Grant. She's like an angel. Everybody loves Amy Grant. She got a mean streak. There's a moment where they bring out these. I don't know. I don't think they were styrofoam, but they were fake snowballs. And as they're doing Winter Wonderland or something, and she's just throwing these basket full of snowballs out into the audience. It was vicious. Throwing those snowballs out there. But
so what you're saying is she does not throw like a girl.
No, she hummed that ball. She hummed that fake snowball. So anyway, great show, by the way. And
I guess
I recommend it to everybody.
I guess Vince Gill forgot that you were on the list, Brian, because the restraining order. Because people, longtime listeners to Nashville's Morning News, know that Brian, for like 3 years...
I've been trying to get an interview with Vince Gill forever, and really what I'm really trying to weasel is I want to see his guitar collection. It's really said to be remarkable, and apparently, only a few selected people, and so far I have not been one of them. But, I continue to hope that next year will be the year that I get to see the Vince Gill guitar collection. But let me tell you, by the way, his guitar playing, has always been exquisite. I mean, he just is a master of the instrument. But lately, I've noticed he's approaching the guitar in sort of a minimalist way, and every note is just choice. He's just at the peak as far as I'm concerned. Of his skills, and it was a great show.
All right, now on to business.
Business. I'm sorry.
So no, it's all good. Donald Trump seizes a Venezuelan tanker. I love this. I think this is one of my favorite stories of the week.
Well, let's talk about how that hurts Maduro. It hurts him bad because, he is funded by oil revenues. And if you shut off his oil revenues, he doesn't stay in power very long. It's also interesting that this particular tanker is sort of an unflagged tanker. And they were actually giving false GPS data about where its location was. And so they were trying to confuse, they were trying to hide this shipment of oil. It's about 2 million barrels of oil. It's a lot of oil. And so not only did he shut down Maduro, it hurts the places that this oil was going. I think this particular shipment may have been bound for Cuba. Other shipments on the ship is made go to, doing the business of Iran, smuggling oil into China, into Russia. So, you're hurting those people who have now lost a supply of oil. By the way, when you're doing these sort of illicit runs with tankers full of oil, they sell it at a cheap price.
Yep.
So that's why people are willing to take the chance. They can get a lot of oil at like $15 less a barrel in order, to fulfill their needs. So it hurts Maduro, it hurts China, it hurts Russia, it hurts Iran. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think he's within his rights to do that, and I'm supportive of it. So
this boat, the skipper, had been sanctioned for a long time, and so it's nice to show, number one, a little peace through strength. That's number one. And number two, it's nice to see a president, because remember, Biden allowed Iran to sell all of that oil, and Iran made billions, and then they used that money to fund terrorism and ultimately attacked Israel.
Right.
So I love what he's doing. Now, the next question is, do you predict that the president will send ground troops into Venezuela?
I don't know if there will be troops on the ground, but I think the targets on the ground might get hit. For example, if you wanted to, if you feel like you are coming to a point where there may be a conflict between Maduro and Trump, the one thing you'd want to do is take out some of their capabilities. So I would suspect if something happens, it'll be like taking out their defensive systems, their missile systems, etc. And quite frankly, I'm pretty sure we know exactly where the narco-terrorists are operating out of. I mean, if we don't, I'd be very surprised. And so, if we go after some of those targets, I'm okay with it. Boots on the ground, I don't feel like that's probably on the horizon, but who knows?
One of the things, and I don't know why, you covered Washington, D.C. for a long time. President Trump clearly said they would release the video of that double tap. Remember that? He said, I'm going to release it. Then he said, I didn't say that. You said that. Why don't they release this video of the double tap? I mean, it seems like
these things always come out anyway. So, I would just go ahead and release it and own it. But because it's hard for Americans to see this because we're not used to seeing this kind of thing. But this kind of thing has been going on with past presidents, Democrat and Republican, around the world. We take out people that we see to be a national security threat. And I think he's on good, solid ground to say that these drug boats are a threat to our national security. And so is the continued funding of the Maduro regime by selling all this oil. So I think he's within his rights to do it. Congress, again, has taken up a very, very unpopular position because the American people have said in one survey that I saw recently, 62% of Americans can't agree on anything.
Right.
And yet 62% of Americans believe that it's the right thing to do to take out these drug boats. Again, the Democrats have taken a position that is unpopular with the American people. When will they ever learn?
You know what, Brian? I hope they never do. More with Brian Wilson coming up next. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
All right, you still have that crash with the off-ramp right lane blocked on I-40 South at the Loop on the westbound on-ramp, and then a crash in Antioch at Bell Road and Murfreesboro Pike. East Nashville have a crash at Gallatin Avenue and Seymour Avenue. And then an accident at Wallace Road west of Humber Road. That's just south of downtown Nashville. And a reminder, with some sewer work going on in Midtown at 21st Avenue South at Medical Center Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Partly cloudy today, a high of 55, feeling like 53. Similar on Saturday, a high of 47. Sunday, we drop with a high of 25. Lows in the teens. Brian Wilson is joining us. So, Brian, a couple of other things I want to touch on. You more than likely saw that the Indiana state legislature has decided not, and this is a supermajority Republican, and they have decided to not gerrymander out 2 Democrat districts. You surprised by that?
I'm a little surprised by it. I mean, everybody seems to be taking that position, and the Supreme Court seems to be unwilling to go in there and say that the action is wrong. If everybody's gonna do it, You know, the Dems are going to do it for sure. You can be sure of that in California. They're going to do everything they can. But we do have the upper hand. I would think when you look at the congressional map, I think we could eliminate a lot of these little tiny blue islands, you know, in a sea of red, which happens around the country. Metropolitan areas are largely very often very blue, and everything that surrounds them, like Nashville, is very red. I'm shocked. I mean, I don't know what goes on in when you cross that line between, let's say, Davidson County and Williamson County, you know, but it's dramatically different. The voting is very different, and people in the city, man, they're about as blue as they get. I think that this kind of stuff is probably going to happen. The Democrats are going to take advantage where they can, and I think we as Republicans should do the same.
We have to. I was tremendously disappointed in Indiana. All right, real quick, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, WTH.
Well, here's the thing about Garcia. I don't think this is a done deal. First of all, you got to acknowledge that the judge is absolutely an appointee of Barack Obama. This Zinnis, Zinis, Judge Zinnis. He determined that he should be released because there was no final order of removal in place.
Yeah,
however,
I don't
the
understand
case was
that.
ongoing.
Right. I'm so baffled by that. Jonathan Fahey was on earlier.
I think this is going to get overturned. I really do. I think, smarter people and better legal minds. This is judicial activism, I think, at its worst. But, I mean, how in the world can you say, well, I'm going to let him go because there's no final order removal when the case is actually still in process?
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
Other than that, though, Trump is, he's been plowing right along, moving right along.
2.5 million people have either decided to leave the country voluntarily or have been exported involuntarily.
Yep.
And some, I forget, 85,000 visas have been revoked. And these are people who have committed crimes that are in our country. And that's a pretty, the Secretary of State has a tremendous amount of ability to revoke visas. He doesn't have to check in with anybody. He can just do it for whatever reason he thinks is a good reason.
Yeah.
And these people are all charged with crimes or have a criminal background, it would seem. So, yeah, he's making progress. There's like 20 million or more illegals in this country. And, they didn't all get here in one day. It's going to take a while to get them out of here, but at least progress is being made. 2.5 million, if you get the worst of the worst, that helps. That helps a lot.
Do you know what I find interesting is there's been a lot of chatter about, the president, I was talking about this earlier, where the president was accused of deporting this guy from South Korea. Turns out he's self-deported, but everybody was, up in arms about the fact that the president supposedly deported this guy. But you know what gets me, Brian, and it is really frustrating, is the media up in arms about a guy who was supposedly deported but wasn't. But, the media is always silent when it comes to all of these illegal alien gang members and rapists and assaulters who do terrible things, and they're not deported, which has certainly been happening, under Joe Biden. It happened sort of under Barack Obama, but nobody's ever up in arms about the people that don't get deported, except for conservatives and talk show hosts.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. It would seem it was in our best interest, to secure our borders. He promised he was going to do it. He's doing it. Shut up. Well, how can you be against a man who told you what he was going to do? Yep. The American people embraced it and elected him. And by gosh, surprise, 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 the man gets into office and does what he said he's going to do. Should be not a surprise to anybody. But again, it's the Democrats. They take these very unpopular positions, and Trump is on the popular side. They're on the unpopular side, and mainly, I think they hate anything that Trump does, regardless of what it is, whether it makes sense or not. I don't understand how they expect to win in the midterms if they keep embracing incredibly unpopular positions simply because they're the opposite of what Donald Trump believes.
All right, Brian, next week, Monday through Thursday, you are filling in for me. Thank you. You got your alarm clock ready and your coffee and all that stuff?
Although this morning when the alarm clock went off, I kept Don, turn off your alarm. Then I realized it was mine.
Yes. Well, you have fun with that. I'll be sleeping in. I'm back on Friday.
Enjoy your time off. Well deserved.
Oh, I will. Thank you, Brian. And we'll talk to you again soon. It is 7:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jones got the news at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, Tyler Robinson was in court yesterday. Why a lot of people were really infuriated by his demeanor. Also, good times for the Predators. They were on fire last night. We've got those stories and more at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan here for USS United Structural Systems. I've been telling you about these folks for years. This is a great company. They're experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, foundation repair as well. They've helped me several times with my home, and that is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. Now, it's not just me. I'm one of 30,000 satisfied customers, and one recent review on Google, guy says that USS, they were highly professional. Their crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they were working on their own home. He gives USS 5 stars all the way, as do I. They're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs, and you won't pay a dime until the work is done, and you are a satisfied customer. Now, they can help you with basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, and foundation repair. We guarantee our best. Call USS at 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. Dan Mandis here. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They are spreading the holiday cheer with amazing deals and community giving as well. It's all about saving you money. And these days, not a lot of companies are doing that, but Busy Bee is. Let me give you an example. You call Busy Bee, you upgrade your water heater, and you get a free 10-year parts warranty. If you've got a clogged main line, take advantage of Busy Bee's 93 or free offer. If they can't get your drains flowing, you pay nothing. Great deals from a fantastic HVAC company, one of Tennessee's best, Busy Bee HVAC. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Get details on all of these great offers. BusyBeeHVAC.com, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Okay, we have crashes on either side of 24 as you're making your way into downtown. One at Old Hickory Boulevard and Benzing Road, and then one at Bell Road and Murfreesboro Pike. There's some volume delay building on 24 as a result, and some delay building on 65. Other than that, a crash out on East Nashville, Gallatin Avenue, and Seymour Drive is still being worked. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:27, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. One of the very astute super texters calling the humble host onto the carpet because I failed to ask Brian Wilson a very important question.
Did he go to In-N-Out Burger?
Did he go to In-N-Out Burger?
Yeah, I knew it.
Well,
I wanted to know, too.
Why did you chime in?
This is called the Dan Mandis Show,
Oh,
yeah?
Joan Jones.
It's actually called Nashville's Morning News with
Oh,
Dan
that's
Mandis.
right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's Nashville. Here's what it's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis. That's what it is.
Because he doesn't want his name to be first.
Whatever. Anyway, so Brian has said that he and I spoke about that earlier.
Okay.
And he said he's not going to go for a few weeks until everything dies down.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I called him a commie. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah. But Joan, you can chime in. I love how subtly Joan has manners. Like you interrupted, and I'm fine with you interrupting me and Sam interrupting me. This is a joint effort. You know, we can all combine our collective talents to make this show as terrible as possible. It's not all on me, Joan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At least I don't come with threats of tire slashing.
No, that's a Joanism.
That's what I did earlier when Jonathan Fahey was on. Is it Jonathan Fahey?
What did you? What happened?
I asked you, if I could ask him a question and threatened you with, if you don't let me, I will slash tires.
Yeah, and I don't want to be stuck here all day, so I allowed you to do that. See, that's the kind of guy I am.
Yep.
All right, real quick, coming up before the end of the show, Caroline Leavitt kicking tail.
Oh, my goodness.
In the White House press briefing yesterday. I loved that. So we've got that story for you and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is 7:30, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones, now with your top stories. The man accused of murdering conservative commentator Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University in September in court for the first time in person yesterday.
All rise. Physically in court for the first time rather than by video link, Tyler Robinson, accused of murdering Charlie Kirk, appeared thin, wearing a light blue dress shirt and tie, at times seen adjusting that tie. Before court started, he was chatting, smiling, and chuckling with his attorneys.
Counsel, as we're moving forward today,
The judge said the hearing was to deal with a couple of issues, including updating the gag order, court security, and attempts by the media to unseal case documents. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia walked scot-free out of a detention facility in Pennsylvania after a federal judge yesterday claimed the Trump administration has no basis to hold him there and no basis to facilitate deportation hearings. Well, that got the attention of White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt yesterday.
The White House, the administration, opposed this activism from a judge who is really acting as a judicial activist, which we've unfortunately seen in many cases across the country. Abrego Garcia is present in our country illegally. He is a proven human trafficker. He is a proven gang member.
And he has made yet another appearance in a ICE facility this morning. We'll have more on that as we continue following that story. The Nashville Predators put on a show last night in their 7-2 win over the St. Louis Blues at Bridgestone Arena. The star of the show, Steven Stamkos, with 4 goals.
That look on a 2-on-1 with Stamkos. Back to Stamkos. Save and the rebound score!
Okay, so the challenge now for the Preds is for Stamkos and for the Preds to sustain this level of play and climb back into the race for the Stanley Cup playoffs. There you go, Sam. That was for you.
Sam totally wrote that story.
He did not.
Do you know what he tried to do?
He did not.
He tried to get me to talk about the Preds.
Yeah.
He's like, Dan, forget about all the news of the day. You know that the Preds won 7-2 last night?
Yeah. So, he was in here showing me pictures. And I swear, I think he's like on the PR team for the Preds. Are you moonlighting with the Preds?
Well, he's
I
got to
wish.
because, we don't pay him a lot.
Amen.
So,
All right. That's the
What?
latest news. We've got your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here from my two-way connection, the Glock store. Now, last weekend, it was a huge success with Tactical Santa. Now, you got to come in. You got to take your photos with Tactical Santa at the Glock store. People came from all across Middle Tennessee to do it. This weekend, tomorrow and Sunday, these are the last days for you to bring in your guns, bring in your family, bring in your pets, and take that photo with Tactical Santa at the Glock store. Now, this is a really unique opportunity. They've got their own in-house photographer. Great opportunity to create memories. And while you're at the Glock store taking photos, take advantage of shopping for some great specials and discounts on all things two-way for you or your loved ones. Now, it all, again, does wrap up this weekend. Tactical Santa at the Glock store, Saturday and Sunday, online, glockstore.com, shoot270.com, and tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out.
We're going to crash right now in Nashville at Old Hickory Boulevard and Benzing Road. There is another one in Berry Hill. It's on Powell Avenue, south of Armory Drive. Some normal volume delays on 24, the westbound side heading in. Same thing for 65 and 24 heading in from the north. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
736, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to welcome on into the program Nina Schaefer. Now, Nina covers health care for the Heritage Foundation. She's been on with us before. Nina, always great to have you on. I'm trying to figure out what in the world happened yesterday in the Senate. So it looks like the Senate voted down competing partisan bills at addressing the impending expiration of these enhanced premium tax credits under Obamacare. So let's talk about, because neither one of these are going to happen, but I do want to talk about what each side wants to do. So the Democrats, basically what they wanted to do was have a 3-year extension of these enhanced subsidies.
Well, I'm not sure how much well, first, thank you for having me. I'm not sure how much your listeners kind of understand the background of how we got to this place. So maybe I can spend a few minutes on that. If you watch the coverage of what's happening here, you would think that all this entire debate is focused on expiring ACA subsidies. The first thing listeners need to understand is that these are COVID-era subsidies that were put in place during the Biden administration to, quote unquote, help offset costs for people when COVID, when they shut down the country and people couldn't go to work, didn't have jobs, et cetera. So those were temporary subsidies that were set to expire. But the Biden administration yet again extended them again in the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yep.
That should have been a signal to everyone that their intention was not to let these subsidies go away, and that their real focus was an intention to actually expand Obamacare under the guise of a COVID subsidy. So the coverage here is all about these COVID-era subsidies that are set to expire. The reality that I think this debate has thankfully exposed is that Obamacare, now 15 years in, has really shown that it hasn't delivered in the promises that it said it would. Premiums are going up, deductibles are soaring, individuals have fewer plan choices than they did before Obamacare, and they actually have less access to the kind of care they want. The Democrats' proposal, as you've highlighted, their intention was just to whistle by the problem and just say, let's just throw more money at Obamacare. Let's tell people, we've got them covered. We'll give more money to Obamacare. But that does nothing to actually change the underlying policy challenges that are facing Obamacare. And I think that's one of the biggest deficiencies of their approach. They just threw more money at it. They offered no policy changes. They just said, everything's fine. All we need is more money. That's actually the opposite of what we need. What they need to do is really reopen the bill and start to work in a collaborative way, I think, with Republicans, and really figure out what are the policy changes we need to see. And that's what the Republicans tried to introduce, is to say, let's reopen Obamacare a little bit and let's see what we can do to make things work for the long term.
So, yeah, and President Trump, I'm sure you saw this, Nina Schaefer joining us from the Heritage Foundation talking about Obamacare, where Trump actually came out, I think it was last night, and he extended that olive branch and said that he wants to work with Democrats to make Obamacare better. Now, apparently, and I'm hoping you can help me understand this, what the Republicans want to do is they want to, I guess, let the tax credits expire and instead provide up to $1,500 per year in contributions to health savings accounts, HSAs, for individuals earning less than $1,500 per year. Earning less than 700% of the federal poverty level, roughly $110,000 for an individual, or $225,000 for a family of 4. So in other words, it sounds to me like what the president wants to do is just, give, and Republicans want to give people $1,500 to contribute to these health savings accounts. And then what that does, you can use that to pay for your insurance.
Yeah, I think the president's gut reaction to all this from the very beginning was spot on. He said, we want to make sure people have control of the healthcare dollars, not insurance plan and not the government. That is really a critical change in the status quo mindset that people have on Obamacare. Again, the Democrat proposal is all about just throwing more money at the problem and sweeping by it. What the president is saying is we need a different way of thinking about how we want this health care to be delivered. And so the Republican plan made a small kind of initial approach on this, focusing just on these the Obamacare system. But I think what's underlying in trying to provide, as you correctly described, money so that people could, if they have a health savings account in Obamacare, they can start using that to either offset some of the deductibles, shop for lower cost care, et cetera. That is a great step in the right direction. But I think what also President Trump has identified is this is not just a problem in Obamacare. Actually, healthcare costs are rising across the board, some of which are as a result of what happened with Obamacare. It has a spillover effect. And so I think that he's really setting a bigger vision of what the healthcare system should look like, which is one that it is patient-centered, that people can control the dollars and decisions in their healthcare, and really force the healthcare infrastructure and establishment, healthcare establishment, to start responding back to the patients instead of to themselves.
It sounds like, though, just final question here, Nina. It sounds like we've got the Democrats, and I feel like, number one, they're being very prideful. They're the ones that, started Obamacare with obviously Barack Obama, and they want to, continue with the illegal aliens, getting health care benefits and so forth. And so I think that pride in politics are getting in the way of the Democrats working with Republicans to find a solution, because to work with the Republicans would mean that the Democrats would be admitting that they're wrong. So I'm almost just wondering if there's ever going to be a solution to Obamacare because of the pride of the Democrats.
I think you've hit a really interesting point. If you look at the vote yesterday in the Senate, there were not one Democrat voted for the Republican plan. They stood just in line with themselves. But if you look on the Republican side, some of them extended an olive branch and said, look, if this is what we do to help the people that have these enhanced subsidies, we're willing to work. They voted for the Democrat plan as well. They voted for both. So I do think that it's shocking that there are many senators who have admitted that maybe there's some things in Obamacare aren't working, that this really hasn't fixed anything, and that maybe we need to reopen it, but yet their proposal did not reflect that. And so I do think that it is an opportunity for perhaps some bipartisanship. There are a lot of policy ideas, whether it's on price transparency so that patients know how much they would have to pay before they get their procedures, whether it's even health savings accounts, allowing people to use health savings accounts in a more flexible way. Those are two ideas that actually have bipartisan support. So I think that there are opportunities if people would actually just focus on how do we fix what's wrong in the healthcare system, both inside Obamacare and outside Obamacare. And as you said, move away from the politics and the posturing on this and actually work together to find a way to help the American people with the healthcare costs.
And Nina, always great to have you on. Have a great weekend. And if we don't talk to you, Merry Christmas.
You too. Thanks for having me.
All righty. 7:45. I cannot believe. Joan, have you seen, just real quick, have you seen there's two stories that I'm going to talk about coming up next. The local Oklahoma Black Lives Matter leader that has now been indicted on all that fraud. You couple that with what we are now finding out about the Somalians and what they spent their money on.
Does any of this surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. We've got all that coming up. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN.
Yeah, we still do have those two crashes in the South Nashville area, one at Old Eagle Boulevard and Benzine Road, and then the other at Powell Avenue south of Armory Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Partly cloudy, high of 55, feeling like 53. Similar Saturday with a high of 47. Sunday, we drop to a high of 25, lows in the teens. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. So I'm going to start with the Oklahoma Black Lives Matter leader. She has now been indicted by a federal grand jury for charges of wire fraud and embezzlement after accusations that she used funds meant for social justice causes for her own personal benefits. Nuh-uh.
Get out of here.
Was she buying large mansions too, like the rest of them over there at BLM?
You know what? Also, where did that money come from? It's
donations from grants and donations from companies.
So this is partially taxpayer money, right?
Well, yeah, if there was government grants, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
It's infuriating. It is infuriating.
How how many times are we going to hear stories like this? And the thing with Black Lives Matter, that whole thing was just a righteous shakedown. I mean, that was Black Lives Matter going to companies and saying, you must donate to our cause or we're going to, destroy your company, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's still companies that donate to this crap. That's the amazing thing. It's like, how long have we been talking about the fraud of Black Lives Matter? I mean, it's been years now, right?
Yes.
Because wasn't that whole Black Lives Matter thing, it was 2020? George Floyd, 2020?
Yeah.
And so that went on for a couple of years. And then we started finding out about the whole buy large mansion stuff. And a lot of the money was just, it disappeared. And so there's been a lot of fraud. I mean, this woman accused of embezzling more than $3 million in funds, 20 counts of wire fraud. She is accused of using the funds to pay for recreational travel to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic, food and groceries for herself and her children. That's a lot of food. And by looking at her.
Did you look at her? I mean,
I sure
honestly.
did. I didn't want to say it, Joan.
Okay, I'll do it.
And retail shopping, a personal vehicle, and 6 properties in Oklahoma City.
Oh,
6 properties.
my gosh.
In Oklahoma City.
Bet she's renting them out and making a profit.
This woman could face up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
That's not enough.
For wire fraud. Oh, it's absolutely not enough. I mean, this is just, it's par for the course.
So
it is par for the course. Now,
we know how corrupt this is, right?
Oh, yeah.
So why does Nashville still have a Black Lives Matter intersection?
The
mural on Woodland Street?
I don't know.
Why?
I saw that. I have no idea. As a matter of fact, wasn't that outlawed? I thought that was... Didn't they... Sam, check me on this. Somebody's going to... I didn't know you were going to bring that up, Joan. I thought that was illegal. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I thought that was illegal to do now. Didn't the Justice Department say they weren't allowed to do that anymore? I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't remember that, but...
She blames, by the way, I love this. She says, whatever happens, the work don't stop. Dickerson said in a video streamed live to social media after the court appearance.
That's so typical.
She blamed haters for the indictment and said she was speaking on Facebook to let her family and friends know she was okay. Who paid for that computer? Right? I mean, that's what I want to know.
Yep.
So then you have not only that story, but now we're finding out more about what the Somalis. It's Somalis, right?
Somalis. Mm-hmm.
I keep people have been saying Somalians and Somalis and whatever. Somalis rhymes with tamales. Luxury cars, private villas. Thank you. I knew it. I knew the second I said it, that was wrong. Luxury cars, private villas.
We love you, Dan.
I've never stayed in a villa or villa.
Well, private villas would have private villas. Via Spanish for view.
There you go. Thank you.
Or vista.
Overseas wire transfers as well. So hundreds of millions in taxpayer dollars. They spent it on, again, it's the same thing. Luxury cars, jewelry, property. Videos show these Somalis popping champagne at an opulent Maldives resort. In a text message, one defendant boasts, "You are going to be the richest 25-year-old, God willing." Lakefront property in Minnesota. Let's see here. First-class tickets to Istanbul and Amsterdam. A 2021 Porsche Macan. Macan?
Yeah, Macan.
Macan?
Mm-hmm.
How much is a 2021 Porsche Macan? I'm just curious. Stacks of cash texted between defendants as well. So these Somalis, I mean, they had no shame, man. They were making it rain with taxpayer dollars.
Oh, yeah.
You think they're actually going to spend any time in jail?
$53,000 car.
$53,000 car.
That's the base model.
They are saying that this could be, I think, is it already, this story's fallen off my radar just because I think we know. But is this the biggest fraud that we've seen in American history? Is it? I don't know. I mean, it's very close. Certainly with Minnesota, it's the biggest amount of fraud that we've seen in Minnesota. I played audio from somebody a couple of days ago, forget who it was, but they are saying this could be the biggest amount of fraud we have seen in America ever. And I don't know, but they're still uncovering it. They're still uncovering. They're saying that there is just layer after layer after layer of fraudulent, crooked Somalis.
It may be at the face value of the dollar amount, but Grok is going to say that the subprime mortgage fraud in 2008, when adjusted for inflation, was an $850 billion scheme, and then the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, $65 billion, adjusted for inflation, $90 billion, and then the Enron scandal. It has a couple, but
but this is different because this is fraud, fraudulent against like the government utilizing, taxpayer money, COVID and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. This just feels different to me. Like I get Enron and Bernie Madoff and all that. I totally get it. For whatever reason, this feels different to me than that. And that absolutely criminal. Don't get me wrong. But this just the absolute arrogance of these Somalis coming into our country. There's one story that I have. Chris Hand may have it today, but there's one story that I have where a Somali went to Minnesota. They literally told this guy, no, don't assimilate. What we do here in Minnesota, what we do here in America is we actually don't assimilate and we just rip off the government. That's what we do. That's the name of our game, and that's how we roll. The Somalis in Minnesota, and there's just no shame. And again, the arrogance of these Somalis. And I hope these people either, which is worse, sending them back to Somalia or sending them to prison here in America?
I think sending them back to Somalia.
I think prison in America is too comfortable either way.
I think so too.
I think you take them out of their comfort zone, you drop them in the middle of Siberia.
Plus, why would we want to pay for them to have all their meals?
Great point, Joan.
Anymore? Like,
great point.
Incarcerating them costs money. Send them off.
Oh, and they're going to claim religious exception on so many things that could be offered there, too.
Yeah. And don't forget, and I covered this, I think it was yesterday, but don't forget that there is also that discussion about how the guy that monitored Somalia's economy, such as it is, for like 4 years from the United Nations, actually said that money absolutely went to Al-Shabaab, because Al-Shabaab acts as a secondary government. And so they go and the remittances go back to Somalia. And then Al-Shabaab goes to the farmers and the shopkeepers and they take portions of that money. It's like a tax. So there's absolutely no doubt that these Somalis bought fancy cars, bought properties, did all kinds of fraud, sent it back to Somalia, and Al-Shabaab certainly got their cut as well. 7:55 on Super Talk, and Jones got the news at 8.
So we got the oil tanker coming up, what the U.S. is now doing with it. Also, get ready for your head to explode. Kilmar Abrego Garcia just caught another break this morning from that very same judge who set him free yesterday. I've got the story coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here. Listen, when you get the person that has everything, how about the gift of self-improvement with my friends at Contours? Now, check this out. Right now at Contours, they're offering both their Tennessee Famous Belly Buster Special and a facial to battle those fine lines, both for just $150. That, my friends, is a huge savings. Now, both their Belly Buster Special and their facial treatments, both are powered by cutting-edge and effective red light technology, and this red light therapy can help you lose inches across the middle and the fine lines on your face. Now, right now, again, get both for just $150. It is the Dan deal. Call right now. The first 10 callers you call right now, 615-236-9960. You get both the Belly Buster Special and the facial for only $150. First 10 callers right now. 615-236-9960 gets that special price of $150. If you want to learn more, find them online. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out always. It is contoursllc.com. ContoursLLC.com.
Okay, we still have that crash at Old Hickory Boulevard and Benzine Road in South Nashville. Talbot's Corner have a crash with the right shoulder blocked at I-65 southbound at the Trinity Lane exit 87 area. Berry Hill in Davidson County have a crash at Powell Ave south of Armour Drive still. And a reminder, Midtown, downtown, sewer work with one lane open at 21st Avenue South at Medical Center Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello there, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. An oil tanker called the Skipper is making its way across the Caribbean now. It's headed toward the U.S. American commandos had boarded and seized that 1,000-foot ship on Wednesday.
The White House claims the Skipper has been falsely flying the flag of Guyana and was hauling Venezuelan crude oil in violation of U.S. sanctions when the commandos rappelled onto the deck from a helicopter and took control. ABC News has learned that the tanker is being brought to a port on the Gulf Coast of Texas.
ABC's Jim Ryan there. ABC News is also reporting that satellite imagery showed that tanker was off the coast of Venezuela over the last few weeks, despite its transponder actually showing that the ship was hundreds of miles away. The legal saga over Kilmar Abrego Garcia is continuing. A federal judge moving just this morning to get ahead of the Trump administration's latest efforts to bring him back into custody. That very same judge yesterday ordered Abrego Garcia's release.
On the steps of an ICE facility in Baltimore, supporters rallied as Kilmar Abrego Garcia headed for a check-in with immigration officials. He spoke to supporters through an interpreter.
I believe that this injustice will come to its end.
Hours after a federal judge ordered his release from ICE custody, saying the administration never properly ordered his deportation, an immigration judge filed new paperwork correcting what he described as an error. This morning, Judge Paula Sinises issued a temporary restraining order to prevent Abrego Garcia's redetention. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
The Food and Drug Administration will reportedly add a black box warning to COVID-19 vaccines. The warning would appear at the top of prescribing information. It is the agency's most serious warning, designed to warn about risks, including death or life-threatening disabling reactions that should be weighed against any benefit. Now, it's not clear if that warning would be applied to only mRNA vaccines or to all COVID-19 vaccines. We'll keep following that one. This weekend will bring a special moment at the grave sites of Americans' fallen heroes. An organization or an organized effort for the holidays to place wreaths at millions of veterans' grave sites.
At the graves of over 3 million of America's fallen veterans this weekend, there will be salutes and the names of the fallen read aloud.
Gladys F.
Wreaths Across America co-founder Karen Worcester.
We are most known for placing wreaths on veterans' graves during the holiday season.
In addition to a veterans convoy from Maine to Arlington National Cemetery, this weekend volunteers in all 50 states will place wreaths at the graves of America's fallen service members.
To teach the next generation the value and cost of freedom.
A labor of love coming from her family's wreath company in Maine. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. And Dow futures right now are plus 102, but the NASDAQ futures are still down. They're down 103 right now. S&P futures also falling 2.5. That is the latest news. Stick around for your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Watch yourself on southbound 65. This is in Madison, right at Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway, exit 90A and B. There is a crash, and it's taken out the right shoulder. Also in Talbot's Corner on 65 southbound, another right shoulder accident on Trinity Lane, or right at Trinity Lane. You do have delays in the East Bank area, 24 eastbound at Shelby Avenue. There's a crash on the right shoulder there. Old Hickory Boulevard in Nashville at Benzing Road. Watch out for a crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. I hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to a Friday. It is December 12th of 2025, and earlier, Joan, we had done a Daily Dan poll on the YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And the question was, are you enthusiastic going into the 2026 midterm elections? And what are people saying, Sam?
Given their three options of yes, enthusiastic, somewhat enthusiastic, or no, not enthusiastic, polling at 37% yes, 35% somewhat, and 28% no.
Take the phones off hold. I want to take some calls real quick, and I want to know, I'm not even going to argue with anybody. I just want to know, are you enthusiastic? Are you not? And why or why not? 615-737-9986. I want to take your phone calls. 615-737-9986. Phone calls, phone lines are open. Did you hear this, Joan? I can't believe my ears. This Benny Thompson.
Oh,
did you see this?
I wanted to tear his head off yesterday.
So they're doing, this is Kristi Noem, and she is being questioned. And we all know what happened with the two members of the National Guard. One killed, one is recovering, with that guy from Afghanistan that drove from, where was he, Washington, all the way to Washington, D.C., and shot the two members of the National Guard. So Benny Thompson, Democrat, of course, had this to say about that.
Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident.
The what? How can you possibly? And here's the funny thing, Joan.
It's not funny. Go ahead.
No, it's not funny. You're right, Joan. It's not funny, but you know how I go.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was struggling for words.
Right.
It's not like he was sort of, confused as to how he wanted to frame it. I mean, he said that
deliberately
and confidently.
Yes.
NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question?
Axe.
What?
Moron.
I didn't hear that when I listened to it first.
Unbelievable.
Joan, there's so many different ways that he has proven himself to be uneducated and ignorant in that 32-second clip.
And Kristi Noem didn't even say, shot him in the head while yelling, Allah Akbar.
Allah Akbar. That's exactly right. How do these people look at themselves in the mirror? And you know what I don't know, where's this guy from? Do we know? Benny Thompson? What is his district?
Look him up.
I'm just curious.
Mississippi of all places.
You know what the funny thing is? And again, not funny, but is that his constituents won't even say a darn word about that, about the fact that he called a terrorist attack, killing one of our National Guardsmen, an accident, as opposed to calling it a terror attack.
He's been there since 1993.
I guarantee you this isn't the first time he's said something stupid. I mean, he's got stupid written all over him.
He looks like the only thing he'd call a terror attack is when you take the mac and cheese away. The big boy.
So, 615-737-9986. Really, only one person wants to talk about whether or not they're excited or enthusiastic about the midterm elections. Only one person?
You picked the hour right before school.
Oh, I did, didn't I? All right. I failed as a talk show host yet again. Mike is in Nashville on WTN. Mike, thank you for calling in and playing along. Are you enthusiastic or not heading into the midterm elections?
I think the strategy is good. I don't do my part.
Okay. Is this where my day's going to go? Mike, I thank you so much for calling. That is did he not sound terrible?
It sounded awful.
No, I'm talking to Sam. Did that not sound terrible when you screened him?
No, it sounded fine.
Mike, call back when you have a better line because it didn't sound very good.
How dare you?
He sounded like he was, like in a submarine somewhere in like the waters off of Russia. I don't know. Anyway, so now people are calling. Do you know what I hate, Joan? When I have to like shame people into calling.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, now you're calling. All right, let's see. Mark on line one. Mark, are you enthusiastic or not about the midterm elections?
I'm not real enthusiastic because I'll tell you why.
Yes.
My sister just moved here with me from South Carolina. She's 74, husband's 84. They're staunch Democrats. And let me tell you, Dan, they are so brainwashed that I had a 30-minute discussion with the other night, and everything I brought up points that you bring up and the conservative bring. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. She's so Trump deranged that I'm Miami elected a Democrat mayor. Mendami got I'm worried that there's so many brainwashed Democrats out there. We got to change that somehow. I know you're trying, everybody's trying, but it's bad. You can't talk to these people, and that's my own family. And we still get along, but it's not good.
So do you even bother to, first of all, hey, Joan, watch this. First of all, Mark, they're old. So what you need to do is you need to tell them that it's like election day, 2 days past election day for the midterm elections. Is that wrong to do? You'll notice, Joan, Mark is laughing uneasily. Like he's not sure if I'm joking or not. I'm joking.
No, I know. I just don't know what I have beat myself up. I've talked to her for years about this. And she told me that when the last she goes election, she goes, well, you're not going to change my mind. I'm like, look, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to get you to open up your, quit watching CNN and NBC. Look at some podcasts, do some things. Everything I bring points up that are true. She doesn't know anything about it. Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, well then Mark, here's my question. Are you changing their mind? Like, are they understanding
I don't know. She called a friend of hers because she wants to move to Tampa. That's where we're from. And her friend's a Trump supporter, and they started talking, and her friend was making point after point after point with her. And I think she got off the phone a little bit befuddled, like, I keep hearing these things, and maybe, but I don't. It's like that. She almost like will not want to go there. Like it's so bad that she just won't believe it. Like maybe one day light bulb will go off or she'll want to learn more, but not so far.
Do you know what the funny? I keep saying this. Do you know what the funny thing is though? Like if somebody tried to convince me that I don't know progressivism was the way to go, and it suddenly started to like click in my head, I would be a little befuddled too. Now that's never going to happen, but from their vantage point, from their standpoint, they've been so conditioned to hate everything that you stand for that they don't really know what to do. And they're looking at you as someone who is trying to convince them of something that repulses them so much. All I would say is either keep trying or just drop it. Because is it worth the family drama?
Well, no. I mean, we still we don't really let the politics divide us as a family. I mean, we argue about it, but we still love each other. But she has I'm telling you, she can't stand Trump. She hates the man so bad.
Yeah.
That's her whole premise behind what she believes in, and he can do no good. And I mean, I don't know how we fix that, but anyway, that's my input.
Do you know there's this old saying, Mark, you know what it is? You can't fix stupid.
I'm telling you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. 8:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Yeah, I got a bunch of accidents this morning. Still got that one at Old Erie Boulevard and Benzine Road. In East Nashville, got a crash with the right shoulder blocked at I-24 eastbound at Shelby Avenue. Got a crash with the right shoulder blocked at I-65 southbound at Briley Parkway. Got a crash still out in Talbot's Corner with the right shoulder blocked at I-65 southbound at Trinity Lane. And in Berry Hill, a crash at Powell Avenue still being worked south of Armory Drive. South Inglewood got a crash at Gallatin Pike, south of Lytton Avenue. And a reminder at Midtown, we got sewer work with one lane open at 21st Avenue South, Medical Center Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Partly cloudy today, high of 55, feeling like 53. Similar on Saturday, a high of 47. Sunday, we drop down to a high of only 25, lows in the teens. All right, so I'm taking calls. Joan, you know how much I love taking calls, and I never get to do it, so I'm taking calls. And I want to know, are you looking forward to or excited or enthusiastic about the Republicans heading into the midterm elections? I've already told you that I am, because I think that 2026 is going to be a great year for President Trump. It's going to be a great year for the economy. Let's say hello to Mike in Nashville. Hey, Mike, go ahead.
Hey, I'm back.
Yes, you are, and you sound great.
So I think that I'm not enthusiastic. Not by a long shot. There's a feeling of dread. Do I think we'll probably still eke out a weak victory? Probably. But we voted for a reckoning, Dan. I fled California to come here, and I don't want to see the country turned into California. And God knows they're trying. I mean, here in Tennessee, as soon as you start seeing bike lanes go in, you already know what's happening. That's like a weird sign that things are in trouble. That's it. That's an identifier. Like, you start seeing bike lanes, the neighborhood's going to hell, the district, whatever.
Do you know what's interesting, Mike? Hey, Mike, do you know what's interesting? Is that they have bike lanes in Hermitage on Old Hickory Road. I have never seen a person in those bike lanes ever, except for a homeless person.
Run away. Start planning your move, because once the bike lanes go in, you've already started losing the fight. It's a weird thing they did in San Diego. All sorts of great. Even the traffic's not that bad in San Diego, right? But they put the bike lanes in for the 3 cyclists, and then San Diego's more blue than it's ever been. Can't even go back and visit with a smile on your face anymore.
Thank you.
I'm dreading the midterms.
All right.
I think we're gonna barely take it.
But you know what, Mike? Here's the deal. You live in a great conservative state. And so
for now.
I know for now. I know. I appreciate it. Interesting observation about bike lanes.
Right about that, because the same exact thing happened in Washington, D.C. And not only that, it emboldens those 3 bikers who take the bike lanes. They don't stop.
Mammals.
They don't look for any traffic beside them or behind them or ahead of them. They just go. And if you hit them, everybody says, oh, it's a tragedy. It's a travesty.
Mammals, middle-aged men in Lycra. Lisa is on WTN in Nashville. Hey, Lisa.
Hello. How are you guys?
We are, well, I don't know about Joan, but I'm excited that it's almost 9 o'clock.
Oh, that's good. Yep, I am too.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I'm not excited about the election, but it has nothing to do with the election. I'm not excited because I think what we need now is time, and I think we need time for some of the policies that have been put in place to actually play out and show what and for people to actually see the outcome. Because you can't say what a cake tastes like before while it's still in the oven.
Lisa, you are absolutely right. And that's what I don't know about anybody else, but I've been saying that. And once 2026 hits and a lot of that big, beautiful bill comes in, we will start to see the fruits of our votes. Lisa, great point. Hey, Lisa, do you agree with the whole bike lane theory, the whole bike lane theory that the previous caller talked about?
I definitely do, and I'm so glad he said that, because I'm out now and I saw these stupid things that take up half the street, and we definitely don't need it in our city. But,
all right, Lisa, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
They want to make sure that it's not comfortable to drive in the city that you live in.
But it's funny because Amy and I were driving along. This was the other day, and I even said that I never see bike riders in the bike lanes, like ever. Driving through Hermitage and like Old Hickory. And it's like, why the heck did they put them there?
Yeah.
Because I think the guy's name was Mike or Mark, whatever. But he's right. There's like just a little handful of people that use these bike lanes. Mm-hmm. And yet you screw up traffic. And then some of those bike riders, now I'm not hating on the bikers, but then some of these folks decide that they're just too good for the bike lanes and they drive in the street anyway.
Yes.
Robert is in Spring Hill. a place where traffic is always sucky. Hey, Robert, how are you?
You got that right, Dan. I'm doing good. So one of your last few callers was talking about his parents or older parents trying to convince them.
Yeah.
My grandparents were the same way, and I think it's just from just old school Democrats. They don't know that the parties kind of shifted or what have you. They don't realize the differences in the parties anymore. And I use this website. I don't know if it's a good website or a bad website or not, but it's called I Side With. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it basically asks you a bunch of questions like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And you just put in, your answer. Like, do you support abortion?
Right.
Do you support this? And then at the end of it, it'll tell you which candidate you more support or should side with. Like, it'll give you a percentage, like 90% of the things that you wanted or support, this candidate supports.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that with my grandparents, who were diehard Democrats forever. And she filled it out, and it came back that she was like 90% support Trump.
No. Oh, my. What was her
what's
reaction?
That website?
It's isidewith.com?
Yes, isidewith.com. And it does all the candidates. So like independents, Democrats, everybody, even before the primary, it'll have all the candidates, period. And it goes over what they support. And so it'll give you a percentage of all the candidates. So it'll tell you, 75% of your stuff is Trump, maybe 30% is with somebody else or whatever. And they were blown away that they actually have more in common with the Republican Party than the Democrat Party.
So
And
did you immediately order them like a Trump hat or something, Make America Great Again hat?
No, I ordered them the Conservatives Handbook by Phil Valentine.
There you go. I love that. And Robert, thank you very much for calling Super Talk 99.7. Do you know my dad did that with me, Joan?
What'd he do?
So it's a story that everybody in my family knows, and I've mentioned this on the air. But I was a liberal when I was in high school and college, right? I just didn't know any better,
Right.
and so it came time I realized for like the second or third year in a row, I owed a crap ton in taxes because I was working like 5 or 6 different jobs. I kid you not. 5 or 6 different jobs, all of them like part-time and minimum wage. This is what my life was like as a kid and as a young adult. So my dad was doing my taxes, and I realized that I had to pay a ton in taxes. I got really mad, and then my dad used that opportunity to talk to me about where our taxes go. And that started me on my road to conservatism. And so then he started asking me, okay, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about this issue? How do you feel about that issue? And talking me through it, because my dad was a Reagan Republican. And my dad basically, and I'm tearing up a little bit because I miss him, he said, welcome to conservatism, son. Welcome to the Republican Party.
There you go.
And it was like, oh my Lord, I can't believe it. And it was the beginning of an awakening, and that's one of my big memories of my dad. It is 8:26 on Super Talk. Joan's got the news coming up at it's 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, strike 2 for the DOJ after another grand jury declines to indict Letitia James. That story and more coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTF.
Thank you, Joan. The weather in Middle Tennessee can get crazy, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. Now, they are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. You get a free quote. You get peace of mind when you have one installed. The Generator Supercenter does feature expert installation, 24-hour monitoring as well. When the power is out in your neighborhood, your power at your home for you and your family is going to be on. thanks to the Generator Supercenter. Now, these folks are awesome. Financing is available. 615-879-1952. 615-879-1952. Find them online anytime. Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com.
Good morning. It's now 8:31, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. For the second time in a week, a grand jury in Virginia has declined to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James on mortgage fraud charges. This time, prosecutors tried a grand jury in Alexandria, Virginia, which, by the way, is another largely Democrat city. ABC's Alex Mallon says that the DOJ may try this once again.
There's no real limit on how many times prosecutors can go back before grand juries in the federal system, but it's just simply because we've never seen a situation like this. Not just in covering the Justice Department, but in DOJ history, there's not really any precedent to look back at the Justice Department going back multiple times before a grand jury and failing to get an indictment.
Letitia James' first indictment was thrown out by an activist judge who ruled that the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, was improperly appointed. Police in Clarksville hoping residents of the Park Lane neighborhood with outdoor security cameras can help them find a would-be killer. The plea comes after a man was shot last night. Here's News 2's Megan Fee.
Clarksville police say they found the man around 11:45 p.m. at a home on Park Lane. We're told he was shot in the back multiple times. Police say the injuries don't appear to be life-threatening.
Police are saying that the shooting appears to be targeted, not a random act of violence. The daughter of a mid-state sheriff has been sentenced to 24 years in prison for abusing a child at a daycare center where she worked in Clarksville. Sarah Fuson was convicted after a trial that included video of her shoving the child in a high chair. She apologized to her during the sentencing hearing yesterday.
To Olivia and her parents, I am so very sorry that this happened and what this has put your family through.
Her attorneys are requesting a new trial, though, but the process won't begin until May. Money news, market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. And stocks are beginning to trade now, and the Dow Jones Industrial starting off 98 points higher. But the NASDAQ is falling 67. S&P 500 index is down 5 points. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan Jones. Dan Mandis here. King and Associates Insurance. Listen, if you need to save money on insurance, check out my friends at King and Associates Insurance. Now, so many of my listeners have reached out and let me know that they've been able to save and save big with King and Associates. Now, one guy that I know, his 16-year-old daughter got into a car accident. King and Associates still saved him thousands of dollars when the time came for new insurance. You know why? Because at King and Associates Insurance, they know that life happens. And as independent agents, they can find you the best deal for you and your family. They're going to weed out the non-competitive companies and find the best options for you and keeping the communication flawless. Now, by the way, that coworker that I was telling you about, he actually figured out that his old insurance agent was overcharging him for years. Don't let that happen to you. Make the switch to King & Associates Insurance. Save money, get great insurance with King & Associates Insurance. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 615-321-8121. 615-321-8121. tkinginsurance.com.
Well, we've got a problem this morning in East Bank on 24, the eastbound side at Shelby Avenue. That's a crash in the right shoulder. And then at 65 southbound, same thing, a crash in the right shoulder. This is at Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway, exit 90A and B. Then Gallatin Pike in South Inglewood. That's a scene of a crash as well at Lytton Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.838 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Our own personalized bumper music, our own choices. So we're going to do Chris's last. So let's review. Mine was at 5:35 this morning, and it was a banger, Chris.
Was it?
It was an absolute banger. Go! TSO, Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. PG for pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right. So
I prefer the Cis Siberian Orchestra.
Is that some sort of stupid thing that only you two understand?
Well, you cisgender and transgender.
All right, Sam. I'm going to give it to you. I'm a little slow on the uptake because I've been up all night, but that was good.
CSO.
CSO. Very good. And then we had Jones. And
did she whiff again on the Christmas music?
Don't scoff.
Go ahead, Sam. Play Jones.
All right, scoff free. Let's listen to it scoff free.
Do you know who this is?
I don't know who it is, but I've heard the song.
It's Carrie.
You sounded judgmental when you said that.
I'm not judging.
Okay.
You sounded a little judgy.
I didn't mean to. I was trying to go scoff free.
This is Carrie Overwood.
Underwood.
Oh, Underwood? Sorry. I just kidding.
Oh, no. You did that on purpose.
I did.
We do a little bit of trolling.
Do you know what I was going to do? I was actually in my head. This is how my head thinks. If I was going to say Carrie Underwood, but I wanted to do like something really dumb, I would say Carrie over plastic.
Oh. We do a little trolling.
A little bit of troll. Very little.
You know my 6-year-old has started trolling me?
No.
Like so bad, and he just does it all the time. The other day we were watching Christmas movies, and we put on the Berenstein Bears Christmas, and so I asked, the kids are all in there watching it, and I'm just passing through, and I'm talking with them. I said, does this one do they talk about Jesus in this Christmas movie? My 6-year-old, without missing a beat, just no cells. He goes, no, it's just a bunch of cuss words, Dad. And then he keeps watching the movie. He doesn't say anything.
Doesn't even look up.
He doesn't acknowledge it. And I was like, what
What just happened?
Are you trolling me? And then they all bust out laughing. Like it was the funniest thing that ever happened. It's like
That's funny.
It's just a bunch of cuss words, Dad.
You're teaching them well.
I know.
Chris Hand. So this is Carrie Underwood or Over Plastic.
Yep.
That wasn't a good
I feel
troll,
like that's rude.
I love Carrie Underwood.
I don't even. Has she gotten work done? Is that
no?
Is there some facts to that statement?
No. I'm just being dumb. Do you know what? One of the best country music videos ever is?
Tell me.
Before He Cheats.
No. Do you know what one of the best videos ever is? American Girl. Carrie Underwood. Right? She's in all kinds of different outfits. Got creepy. I'm sorry.
I've never heard it.
American Girl?
Never heard it.
It's a great, well, don't worry about the song, but the video, she's in like all kinds of.
Perfect.
All kinds.
All right, yeah.
All kinds of outfits and stuff. She's dressed. She's dressed like a doctor and a scientist and a cheerleader.
That is creepy, Dan, coming from you. It's like.
That's a nasty one.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
She dresses like all the jobs that the migrants would have been able to get if we didn't deport them. Is that what you're telling us?
all the HB1 visa spots.
That's exactly right.
That's stunning and brave.
First of all, I don't believe that that's creepy, Joan. That was the desired effect at the time.
I see. Okay.
Why would she dress so adorbs if she didn't want a reaction?
Adorbs.
Oh boy.
Oh,
my goodness. This has gone off the rails.
Oof.
You really did do red eye last night, didn't you?
yes, I did. All right, so then Sam had his and his official Sammy music. So go ahead, Sam. Who do you think this is? Don't say anything. Chris, who do you think this is?
I don't know.
Oh, play along.
It's probably some guy that was on American Idol. If I was guessing.
It sounds like the Eagles to me.
Is
I
it?
said that this was the Eagles originally, but it turns out to be.
I heard it on the way in. That's
apparently
right.
this is the Offspring.
It's pretty good.
It sounds like Don Henley.
There's a vibe to it.
It's got a vibe. I mean, it's not quite American Girl by Carrie Underwood.
No.
It reminds me of when Extreme did More Than Words. People are like, you can't make pretty music. All you do is that heavy rock stuff. They're like, all right, well, how's this?
They said, hold my joint.
Don't Bogart it, man.
Isn't The Offspring also have the song Pretty Fly for a White Guy? Isn't that also The Offspring?
Yes.
Okay.
And You're Gonna Go Far. Those are like two of their biggest hits.
All right, very good. All right, so yours, Chris?
Well, I brought one. So did you know that a lot of Christmas songs are actually written by our Jewish friends? Did you know that? It's
did not know
the
that.
overwhelming amount. And so I thought to myself, okay, let's go down that rabbit hole. And we've heard from this guy before. His most famous song is actually the most famous Hanukkah song. And that gets a lot more play around this time of year.
You're going to play Adam Sandler.
Yes.
But a little less known is the Christmas song.
Yeah.
And so this is Adam Sandler's The Christmas Song.
I love this. Gotta love it. Adam Sandler. Gotta love it.
Okay.
Very, very good, Chris.
Yeah, I brought it. It's the lesser known of his songs.
I love the Jewish one.
Yep.
And I used to be able to recite, and I can't anymore because I'm old and confused. But the one where he talked about all the Jewish folks.
Yep.
Who was the one that converted?
Yeah, I remember that. And he's like, that'll count. We'll count it.
Yeah, she converted. But
was it Madonna?
No, it wasn't Madonna. Who was it? Super text line. I know somebody remembers because every time I hear I hear that person's name, pops into my head. She converted, but for the life of me, I can't pull it out of my cobweb-ridden head right now.
That was peak SNL. It has not recovered since then. That was the best cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Adam Sandler era.
Yeah, the Adam Sandler era where like Chris Rock, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, that was peak SNL.
Dan Mandis won today, 76-79. Thank you.
You get one text saying you won and you highlight it.
Absolutely. So I think I would disagree with you. I think the original Saturday Night Live cast was the best. Bill Murray, John Belushi. And here's why. Do you know why, Chris? The reason they won is because there were no standard bearers before them. All the people you're talking about, the mold was already broken when Adam Sandler and everybody came on. But Bill Murray and John Belushi and all those folks, they had no standard set yet. So they were coming into this blind.
I tend to disagree. There were more stars made from that SNL cast than any other SNL cast.
Well, John Belushi died. After he was a star, though.
I don't know. I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
You disagree? Okay, fine. You could be wrong.
That's all right.
I say that with you all the time. Sometimes when I'm driving in the car and you're monologuing, I say, Chris can be wrong.
Sometimes.
I'm just kidding.
Only sometimes.
You know, it's so funny because I've disagreed with you on occasion, which is fine, no problem at all. You and I have actually got into it on the air once or twice.
And I like that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
me
I'm
too.
down for it.
Mm-hmm. Chris is always down for a little fisticuffs.
I am.
Little verbal fisticuffs.
Yeah,
it's exactly right.
Fart in your general direction.
Yes.
Who was it that O.J. Simpson nodded you? Who was it that converted in the Adam Sandler song?
Was it Dr. Laura?
No, I used to work with her. That's no.
Well, somebody said it.
No, I know.
I'm reading the text line.
Well, Arthur Fonzarelli. No, it wasn't Arthur whatever. You know what? I'll figure it out later. All right, real quick.
You see the text overwhelmingly agreeing with me?
Regarding
the
what?
SNL cast.
Oh, they could be wrong.
Was it Rod Carew?
Rob Carew.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Hall of Fame baseball player.
Well,
in the Hanukkah song.
Back up.
I
What
don't
did you
pay attention
say?
to baseball. I said Carew.
Rob Carew.
Whatever.
Who are you?
If Joan knows the baseball player and you don't, Sam.
You know what? I want you to put that thing on your head. Put that little princess thing on your head. Turn around, Chris. After shanking Rob Carew's name, you deserve the "I'm a Princess" crown.
You had King of Shanks right there.
The steroid era in baseball was the best era in baseball. Changed my mind.
It was.
It peaked right around the same time.
Well, yeah,
SNL right around the same
and
time
1-1.
SNL peaked.
Yeah, but that whole era of Major League Baseball was it's the whole thing is an asterisk.
I say let him do roids.
Do you? Is that what you say? Let him do the roids?
Till their heart explodes on the mound.
Just to make him sign a waiver.
Gonna up the insurance policy for the rage in the locker room.
I don't know why they wouldn't. Shouldn't there, if you were to form a rival league, I'd be like, my league's the steroids league. I feel like you would instantly be printing money.
It's like, who cares if they're on roids? They hit long home runs.
But you could do that with any sports league, and it would be way better. Imagine if I did the UFC, but I'm like, yeah, but mine's the UFC on roids.
No. I'll do you one better with that. UFC on meth.
Meth FC.
All right.
They used to do that on the internet back when the internet was a wild place. Remember bum fights?
Yes.
Bum fights?
You don't remember that?
No.
Bum fights was wild. These guys would go around and would pay homeless people to fight, and they would film it and put it on the internet.
Oh, I remember that.
It's back before you could trace everybody's location so easily.
Yep.
All right, real quick. What do you got? We got video here.
Oh,
Sam.
okay. So McDonald's dropped a new Christmas ad, and it's causing a bit of controversy. The entire ad is done in AI. This is from the McDonald's Netherlands division. The entire advertisement is artificial intelligence. There are no real actors. There nobody filmed anything.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that people are upset about is they label Christmas the most terrible time of the year inside this ad.
Now, why would they do that? Just
they hate Jesus.
Oh, okay. Here it is on TV and on the radio.
It's the most terrible time of the year. All the shops turn to mayhem, even Santa knows space, and the tree redecorated your place. It's the most terrible time of the year. The roast turned to charcoal, and the cookies burn too. Freaking chaos, it feels like a zoo.
And it just shows a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, people are falling, dog on and cat on the Christmas tree.
Looks like the start of The Purge.
It does. It's like a Christmas version of The Purge.
But then they go to McDonald's and everything's all right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Especially because it looks like they brought Kurt Cobain back to life in that shop window.
Was it written to be stupid, or
I don't know.
Like, what were they thinking?
They said the advertisement, which depicts Christmas season as the most terrible time of the year, features a rapidly changing, disjointed scenes generated by AI, jarring visuals, poor color grading, and unconvincing physics. This is AI slop. And then people were mad that they call Christmas terrible. I feel like we're going to see a lot more AI slop in 2026.
That is slop. What that was slop. But people are probably excusing it because they're getting publicity because it was all AI, and they don't have to pay any actors and anything like that. So you know, they got to pay one person to do
Probably
the AI.
Do you think that's the cheapest ad they've ever made?
Probably maybe the easiest because you don't have to deal with actors, right? So
it's going to be a weird year as this AI stuff becomes more readily available.
Absolutely.
I'm curious about what the Super Bowl ads are going to look like.
Oh, that's a good point.
Can I ask a different question? So, Joan, Sam, Chris, let's guess, shall we? How long, you and I, Chris, are we going to have to look at Jackson's big trophy in there before he finally takes the damn thing home?
What did he get a trophy for?
He got a trophy. Dr. Mitch sent him a trophy. I'm not entirely certain why, but that's from Dr. Mitch. And he sent it to Jackson, our friend in the afternoon. And he sent him a...
Oh, it's for Nincompoops in the News.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's for the Nincompoops in the News trophy.
Okay.
Then what's with the crown? Is he king of the nincompoops?
Think so.
I guess so. I guess so. But I would like...
Dr. Mitch has a big heart.
He has a very big heart. We love, by the way, we love Dr. Mitch.
We do.
I would like Jackson to take it home because I'm just going to be honest. That's bigger than my Marconi, and I've got a problem with that.
Oh.
You don't like the way it stares at you in the corner?
Size
from the chair?
matters.
Size definitely
Size does matter when we're talking about trophies.
It must be distracting while you're trying to do your show. That thing's just glaring over you.
Must be. It's very intimidating. So anyway, I'm just kidding.
Will they be passing that trophy around during Nincompoops in the News?
You know what? Is everybody gonna have to kiss the trophy now and like hockey?
Well, and there's a big cup you could
out.
eat some soup out of that thing.
You could throw some, like beer and stuff in it. Jackson, from what I understand, he drinks a little bit of beer.
He partakes.
He partakes, and he could put some beer in the cup and then just drink it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, he could do that.
He could.
All right, 8:54, Nashville's Morning News. Joan, what's coming up in the news?
Coming up here, Dan, at 9 o'clock, we'll tell you. I'm not set
Joan
for
wasn't
this.
ready.
Yeah, I wasn't
Joan
ready.
wasn't ready.
The Trump administration suffers another loss in Indiana. We've got that story and more coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you very much, Joan. Dan Mandis here. Zintex, a great way to increase the value of your home. How about a bathroom upgrade from my friends at Zintex, a great company that has a great deal just for listeners to my show. How about converting your bathtub into a walk-in shower? Now, they can do that, and for listeners to my show, you can get $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years, whichever works best for you. Now, Zintex has won awards for ethics from the Better Business Bureau, and last year they were voted one of the best places to work in the construction industry. And happy employees mean great customer service. Remember that great deal, $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years, Zintex.com.